What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to episode number 7, right? Yep, 7 of the amazing, awesome, dare I say, best podcast on the fucking internet. You know, the
All right.
pre-patch podcast, right? Hello? Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Am I
guys.
live?
Yeah.
Am I live, guys?
I don't know if you're live. I'm live.
Are we live? Is everybody live?
Oh my God.
What's going on?
I'm live.
Did COVID kill all us all? No.
Not yet.
Did Crovid kill all of us? That may be
More likely.
Well, honestly, from now on, if we're going to be posting this to YouTube, we should probably, instead of saying that, we should say Crovid. Because
That's
I know
true.
they're demonetizing things if you say the other name. So I think from now on, it's just going to be Crovid-19 instead of, you know.
Okay, I do want to take a second though and just before we even go to anywhere into all of this, thank you guys to everybody that has gone out and subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you hit in my channel at least !podcast, it'll come up with the link for the show. But appreciate everybody that's gone out there, all of our fan base, that has gone in and subscribed. That means a lot. We're actually trying to get to 100 subscribers so we can get a custom URL badge. It's really important for us to be able to get to that. So please, if you have not yet subscribed, go in and do that. Again, it helps us immensely just because we don't have this weird ass,
Long
like,
fucking channel name.
UCPLE.
UCPLE3.
Yeah,
1, 2,
BF.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
That's one of the biggest issues that I have with YouTube is that they made it so that it locked custom URLs behind being having 100 subscribers. It didn't used to be that way, but now it is. It's annoying more than it is anything.
Yeah. Really.
But thank you to everybody that has done that, and also too thank you for everybody that comes in and tunes in right when we go live. This is something that we've now done 7 episodes of. It is something that we're all very passionate about. We all really look forward to doing this and love being a part of this. And it was something that was that we had a while back, and it was something that we really wanted to bring back. Let's just listen to the soothing ASMR sounds of
Just shaking the G Fuel.
Bill's fucking G
Sponsor
Fuel.
us.
Sponsored. Not really, I wish.
But
soon to be.
but yeah, it's so we're super happy to be able to do that, and thank you again to all of our fans that come out and support us in all of our channels, whether you're live in my channel, you're live in Scruffy's channel, or in Bill's channel. We see all of the chat, so thank you guys for hanging out and being with us.
We see you.
So.
Thank you.
Yep. So getting right into it, this is as always, we always have a jam-packed podcast. And we talk about so many different topics. And there's so much stuff that has come out. I think between Valorant with the Call of Duty hacking, we've got closures of, game servers, new games that we're all playing. Tom Nook is a crook. From what I'm hearing across the animal.
Randy Pitchford's a dickhead.
Yep, apparently that's a thing. And the new stuff that came to Twitch, we're obviously going to talk about with the new mod tools and things like that did come to Twitch. So, it's a jam-packed episode, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it. But before we dive any farther, right, we got to get the intros out of the way. Of course, my name is Sinan. I'm one of the hosts here on this wonderful podcast. You can catch me at my Twitter handle, S1N3N, or obviously on Twitch at S1N3N as well. Scruffy, the young man
Hello.
that holds down our weeb community here.
What? Okay. Yeah. What up? I'm Scruffy. How's it going?
Ooh, Scruffy, whoa.
Oh, God. All right. I'm gonna take my leave now.
Yeah?
You
Okay.
guys can finish this.
It's okay. Scruffy, where can everybody find you at?
It's typical Twitch.tv at Agent Scruffy, Twitter Agent Scruffy, pretty much same thing everywhere. It's me. Hi.
Awesome. And
It's
then
your boy.
we still are waiting for that sponsorship from Head and Shoulders and Pantene, because the man that's right there has got the glorious locks and can grow a beard 6 times faster than Scruffy can ever do. Is Mr. Billy the Squid? What's going on, Bill?
Oh, not too much, fellas.
Yeah, and where can everybody? Okay,
everybody
all right.
find
Where
you?
can everybody find your content? I keep getting interrupted. Jesus Christ.
Who are you?
I am Billy the Squid. You can find me on Twitter, Billy_the_squid with a K.
Yeah.
Same thing on Twitch and YouTube's.
And again, the man with no face, that we will never know if he is walking down the street, if he's behind you or not. You'll feel a little just.
You will fear him too.
Yeah, I mean, you'll fear him, right? But you're gonna feel a slight breeze across the back of your neck,
And
thinking
that's
that
going to be his luscious beard just brushing you.
that or him crop dusting you as he walks by. You're never gonna know.
You're gonna just feel me, leaning in, and all you'll hear is it's free real estate.
Yeah, but there's Mr. Enigma. Obviously, Enigma. Where can people find you at?
Obviously, you can find me at Enigmatical TV on Twitter and Enigmatical Gaming on Twitch, but I would rather you just go to twitch.tv/team/prepatch and just take in all of our wonderful streamers that we have represented through me and through their own channels. Just do it. It's you're not missing out on anything really.
So that's our intros, guys. But let's get right into it, man. So there's been a lot.
That's over.
There's been a lot. Yeah, now that gruesomeness is done.
Yeah.
So there has been so much stuff that's come out, and so much things, that I think. Usually we kind of kick off these shows by talking about what we're playing. And I want to kind of hold that for a little bit because I think it's going to kind of incorporate into the show as we talk. And yes, I will be talking about Ori and Will of the Wisp, as people in chat are kind of wanting to hear about that as well. We didn't really talk too much about it last week, our last episode. But, I think let's talk about the big elephant in the room, right? Or two big elephants in the room, is the closures of these games that have happened. That realistically, I mean, insanely soon. Like we talked a couple weeks ago when you talk about like Bless Unchained, when you talked about, some of these other companies that are just kind of grabbing this money and running with it. But this is a little bit different, man. This is just like, I mean, and Enigma, this is kind of your topic here, but we had Last Oasis, which is a big one, right?
The biggest thing is like once you look into like Last Oasis, it's not as much of a closure as it's like an extended maintenance period. Originally I thought it was a closure until the point that I read into it a little bit more. Apparently they're only going down for like 7 days to make sure that maintenance is done on their servers. They got hit so hard with the influx, I'm sure, of COVID-19 gamers. And I think that was the biggest thing with their servers. They just weren't ready for that influx. Now you can't make that as an actual excuse, because I didn't give that as an excuse for what was it, the fucking Diablo. I always forget
Wilson?
the fucking name. Wilson, yeah. You can't give that as an excuse, because I feel like if you're going to look at your metrics and everything, you should know that you're going to get hit hard. As a new game in that kind of an industry, you're going to get hit hard regardless. But I kind of backtrack on what I was thinking prior. Was like, oh, they're just going in, they're doing this as a cash grab, this and that in between too. Maybe it's not as bad. They kind of admitted failure. They kind of admitted that they fucked up, and they're like, we're going to take things down for 7 days. We're going to fix what we had wrong, and we're going to come back strong. And on top of that, they're giving out free, full refunds no matter how long you've played.
So
if you feel like you've been wronged by them, they're giving out full refunds.
That's the biggest thing, because Steam itself only gives refunds after 2 hours.
Well, my question is, how do they do that?
After that sucks.
How is that doing that though? Because
that's a good question, because like I haven't bought it. I'm so far out of survival games. I don't give a shit about them anymore. I hardly play any of them. But apparently it's they're doing it somehow.
Well, because I know that for a fact. Like right now, I'm not fighting Steam anymore. I fought Steam on the Wilson purchase for Scruffy. Scruffy basically refunded the game. I then in turn went to go refund it. He was over the 2-hour limit, but the reality of it is the game was broken, the game was busted. He wasn't going to play it, or whatever else. And so I went to go refund it. I had to go through PayPal to get my money back. And because Valve didn't respond, I got my money back from PayPal. Valve has locked my account out for 4 weeks. I can't, like, so if anybody gifts me anything, I can't even add it. So the Blasphemous that you gave me, can't add it to my account because my account's locked out for 4 weeks. Like, because they didn't approve the return or whatever else, but PayPal still was like, no, you guys never responded back, so you get your money back. So I'm just interested on how are they gonna go follow through with that, because if
I don't know, it's got to be some kind of collaboration between them and Steam. Like Steam has a couple, in a couple cases, gone past their 4-hour time and given out refunds on games that are completely broken. They did it with oh shit, what was that?
Atlas.
I believe they did it with Atlas. I believe they did it with Bless. I think they did it with Bless on a couple occasions.
For sure, yeah.
So it's not unheard of that they've gone against their 2-hour 14-day refund policy, but it's very, very rare, and it's usually only slotted for those kinds of games that it's quite clear that they're completely fucking broken and nobody can play it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so to everybody understands, it's 2 hours. It's not 4. It's a 2-hour window that you get.
That's what I meant. It was 2 hours.
And to be 100% honest, Steam is fucked with that. Like, that's a stupid. That is a dumbass rule. Like, I get 2 hours, but
it's better. It's better than not. Like,
I'm not,
there's no
right,
way,
but I'm saying it shouldn't be like 2 hours is nothing. People
you have to think of it in there's some of these smaller indie games that are like $3 that you can beat in like less than 2 hours, and then people would just refund those. It's as a deterrent for people just mass buying these small games,
right,
playing them, and then
but
refunding them.
there's a way to be able to monitor that via a completionist. Like, most of these games that do come out usually have to have some kind of Steam achievements or something attached to it. It's not just like they launch and then they're done. My whole thing is, like, to me, a 2-hour window, there's been many a times where I literally have fucked with the game for over 2 hours trying to get it to work.
Just being in the tutorial sometimes takes over 2 hours.
Right. So it's not. I'm not saying that it needs to be a huge amount of what was it, GOG or something like that, or whatever that's doing freaking
GOG,
30 days. Like, that's ridiculous.
30-day no time limit.
Right. That's crazy. But like, they need to do at least, I think, like a 3 to 4 hour kind of window.
Well, the thing is like that brings up into question, like GOG, the difference between GOG and Steam on their refund policies, right? If GOG is willing and able to do a 30-day money back guarantee, why is Steam not able to do that?
Because they don't want to.
What's the difference?
It's they don't want to. It's got nothing to do with these limitations.
From what I've heard with Steam, they withhold the funding for 30 days regardless. So like you pay Steam, they get their cut, they keep the rest of the money in their area for 30 days, and then finally it goes to the actual publisher and the game creator, right? So it's like, I don't understand that personally myself, but I do agree with you that they could track that, and I'm sure that they do. I'm sure that they track how many actual refunds you do in a month.
Right? Yeah, I know there is a Steam tracker that does that, and that's another thing. But
I mean,
still, I think it's more to defend the small guys than it is for anything else. And you're right, Sin, and I've spent many an hour trying to just get settings optimized for a game. And it's happening more and more in the present day because these games come out fucking broken.
Right. Well, and that's my thing too, is like, and I think this kind of brings this full circle into the topic, but like, if a game is launching and is this busted, Last Oasis, again, I give more credit to indie devs than I do big studios, because it's an indie dev studio.
100%,
so, and I give Last Oasis even more props because they manned up and said, our shit's fucked. We weren't expecting this. We're sorry, or whatever, versus Atlas, which is just like pulled the wool over everyone's eye and said, fuck you. It's a different game. And it's not like, and or whatever else. So but the thing is too, is like, you have these games that do this where they come out, they're completely broken, they're completely busted. The developer knows that they're busted and they're broken. It's not an early access kind of thing. This is just the fucking game doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't. And in this sense, I feel like Last Oasis, I don't think it was the game didn't work. I just think their servers couldn't handle the load, right?
Yeah, from everything that I've understood, like pre-release, their beta participants or whatever it is, their alpha, whatever they fucking labeled it as, their pre-release participants said that the game was fucking phenomenal. It worked perfectly. There was no issue with it. The servers were fine, everything like that, right? It's just the influx of people, and I do believe that the current world situations kind of made that even worse because everybody has time on their hands now, right? Everybody has time to play games, video games. This is a big upcoming survival title. They were like, we got to handle, we got to get on this like ASAP. Right.
Yeah, they responded really fast too.
They did.
They
Yeah,
put a
they
whole
did.
video out explaining everything about their faults and everything, like to everyone, like within less than a few days, I'd say.
Yeah. So essentially, what happened was they just weren't ready for the influx of players.
And I
Yeah.
hate the fucking comments that you read when people are just like, you should have been prepared for this. It's like, bro, so I don't think people understand the amount of money that it costs to actually have a server capacity, server load. And then you spend all this money to expect that an influx of 10,000 people are going to play your game and you get 200. It's just like, well, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. In any case, I mean, Last Oasis is kind of the very, very tip of this. Like the bigger thing is like
I was about to say there's like a 3-tiered situational report that we got to go into right now, right? There's Last Oasis, where it's like the very tip of the spear, the very, very minimal portion, right? And then we move into like MapleStory, right? I don't know if you want to kick that off.
MapleStory
right now,
too.
so.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. So MapleStory 2, for people that don't know, essentially was the sequel to the original MapleStory. Actually launched pretty successfully, had a pretty wide audience for a long time. Well, I can't say long time. It was less than a year, I think, or less than 2 years.
Yeah, less than. I think they were out for literally less than 10 months.
Yeah,
It had a lot of hype and it looked like a solid game to me.
I mean, I tried it.
Yeah, everything I've heard, it was a solid game. It was
I
pretty.
watched a few people play it. There was a few League streamers I watched that played it in queues and stuff. It looked fun.
Yeah, I mean, I played it for a little while. It's not my type of game, but I mean, I did I checked it out like I do normal games, and cool, great, understood it. And then out of the blue, they just shut it down. They're just like, not like we're reducing server capacity, not that we're not going to do development for this anymore. They just fucking Club Penguin the shit out of it and shut it down.
Well, no, that's not entirely true. They only shut down the US servers. They're still funding it and fully supporting it in Japan and the Asian markets.
Yeah, but that's on their mobile platform though.
They're stopping.
Is it on their mobile? Yeah, it's only their mobile platform. So they have migrated the game over to overseas in Japan and some of the Asian markets, like the mobile device reigns king. I mean, it's just the way it is. And so that they migrated that over to mobile only, so you can migrate your account to that, but US and EU cannot. It's only for Japan and I think China and like one other country or something like that. So essentially, they fucking shut the game down. Like, I mean, that's just it. Like
they've shut the PC version down for sure, and it's completely gone. It's ridiculous.
Is this due to it not having a large enough player base in US and EU, or is this due to COVID-19 issues?
I don't think it has anything to do with fucking COVID. I think
to do with COVID, yeah.
or COVID, not COVID. Sorry,
COVID,
yeah. I don't think it has anything to do with.
We're already demonetized regardless. So well.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with that. With the state of the world right now, they are going to lean heavily on this because it's an easy out. But that's not the case. Like the thing here was that they launched this game. They don't want to fucking put any more money into it. It probably didn't generate enough revenue for them that they thought it was going to, and they overcompensated for what it was supposed to be.
I'm assuming.
And then,
and they're only doing refunds a few months back as well.
Yeah,
I'm honestly willing to bet that what happened was they released it into the Western markets, thinking that it was going to do well. Right, and then they started getting a shit ton of money off their mobile platform in the Asian markets and the Eastern markets.
And we're just like, on the Asian markets.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah. It's not worth it. We're probably getting like double what they're making off the PC port in Western markets, and we're like, fuck that. Like, Western people are so picky when it comes to these types of games. We're not going to even deal with it. So,
yeah,
you're done. You're done. Get the fuck out of here.
And what's crazy too is that MapleStory 1 is still being like that's still a thing.
It's still supported. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that game's huge.
Yeah. It's. I don't know. It's fucking mind blowing that this kind of stuff is allowed to happen, in this kind of form or fashion. Like to me, we are, gaming's now been around forever, right? We finally, because of COVID, we finally have the fucking World Health Organization saying that gaming's healthy. It's not bad anymore. It's not going to rot your brains. You're not going to turn into a serial killer. It's actually a healthy social
Seriously.
platform.
I love
now
that. It wasn't even too long ago they were blaming games for.
they
for
blamed
video
it
game
6
violence
months
and
ago
shit.
for fucking people.
Like literally, and
Yeah.
now they're just backlashing and saying, "Nope, it's all good."
No, it's
Did they drop the gaming addiction as a mental
Probably
health
not.
issue
no,
as
no,
well,
that's
or is
that's
that still a
that's
thing?
still a thing. Yeah, it's fully still a thing. But we live in this society now where gaming is 100% a social thing, and it's in our world, right? And my like just not understanding why we do not have laws in place that protect consumers when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, I mean, I get that you could buy something and a company could go out of business, right? But in 9 times out of 10, there are still things that are put into place that allow for either the consumer to be compensated back for that, for whether there's class action lawsuits that are done, there are things that are like refunds that are done back. I mean, there's laws that are out there, and it's just like the Wild Wild West in gaming is just like, oh, fuck over whoever you want to fuck over. It doesn't really matter, right? And it just, I don't know, man. It sucks.
We're slowly cracking down on it, but it's taken a long time.
Yeah,
Those
but
big
what-
companies are fighting real hard against it.
We focus on fucking loot boxes. We don't focus on the.
Well, the thing is, like over in certain areas of the world, like in Australia and such, they do have certain laws that state that if you've removed basically the ability to access something, or if you don't have the ability to do some kind of a refund or something. I know they did this with Wolcen recently as well. Was people were they were getting in trouble for not offering refunds for that. They also did it with Fallout 76 recently, everything like that. If you're not able to actually access it over there, I believe you can actually get a class action lawsuit against you, and the government of Australia will go after you. So I'm hoping that at one point the rest of the world will adopt such things.
I mean, just
Same.
I don't even think like. I guarantee you'd probably be laughed out of court if you went into a thing and said, I want to file a class action lawsuit against, let's just say Fallout 76, because what we got was not anything of what was supposed to be, right? Like that was a complete shit show, and it's still a complete shit show. We go to them and say, hey, or Bless or any of these other companies, and we go, hey, we want a class action lawsuit because this was basically a scam, and what we were paid for was not true, and we were lied to as consumers and taken advantage of. They would fucking laugh you out of court. Like they would just be like, get out of here, bro. Yeah. Like you're fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's a video game. What do you want? Like I don't know. There's so many, and I'm not saying that there needs to be like regulations and on top of regulations, but I do think that there needs to be some kind of protection against stuff like this, because this is now more than ever, I think, becoming a bigger and bigger issue. It's just like these companies, especially because of how easy it is on Steam. Maybe with things like GOG and things like that will change, and you'll see a shift in like the return policies and things like that. But there's so much of this just like saying, well, fuck it, you buy at your own risk. You know what I mean? Like it's on you if the game fucking blows down, blows. And I get it for early access stuff. Like that's on you. Like you're buying into an early access, you're buying an unfinished product. That's like buying a fucking car before it's even built. I get that, but like when you go out and a game says I'm launched and I'm releasing, and you're taking funds and you're allowing people to play your game, like at that point you're saying it's fully released. Like I don't know. It's just fucking crazy. Like to me,
this is where we start the pre-patch gamer insurance, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. For $16.99 a month.
It is an issue, right? Like GOG is famous for bringing back the original GOG was Good Old Games, right? They were originally there to bring back old games from the dead, make them so they weren't DRM sanctioned, right? So that people could play past versions of games that they loved before, but you can't obtain them anymore. One thing that I do like about like private servers and stuff like that is that they do offer that kind of a service. There's certain games out there like Anarchy Online was one recently that kind of came up in the news, where they had a new server come up that essentially brought it back to what it was previously before the servers completely went down, right? And then that's one thing that I like about the new generation is that we're starting to see like these old games be, I wouldn't say reinvigorated, but like reanimated almost, because there's no change to it. It's just they've brought back the server so people can play them. But and I understand those kinds of games where it's like they went on a stint of like 10 to 15 years and then we're like, okay, we need to shut the servers down. But legitimately, this is like a year, less than a year. Is
Right.
ridiculous to me. It's the same
It's
thing with
pretty
Bless
extreme.
Online. Bless
That's just
Online
robbing
was up
people,
for
honestly.
less than a year, dude. I think it was up for like 6 to 8 months, maybe, if I remember correctly, somewhere around there. Regardless, it was a year, right?
Yeah.
And they took it down, and you have no access to that anymore. There's no way to play it. There's, you can't.
Is that a similar thing? Do they stay open in Asian market?
No, Bless just took the money and fucking run.
Completely shut it. Yeah, they Bless completely shut it down and took the money and ran. It's ridiculous. But
That should be
yeah, no,
illegal.
it's one of those things where it's like I don't know where the economy is going, but that's definitely something we need to look at in the future. I think.
It's the thing about it that's crazy too is that and like people are saying in the chat, right, is games like Generation Zero, games that are and I'm not familiar with Generation Zero, exactly what that is, but games that are online based and they shut it down, right? Then my whole thing is, then guess what? Give us the access and the rights to open up our own servers. Let us host our own shit. Like, again, if you're talking about, let's look at WildStar. Anybody that's familiar with this podcast, anybody that's familiar with me and my channel, like, I love WildStar to death. And they fucking murdered it and they killed it. All right. And I know that there's a private server being done, and Carbine isn't really a big deal of it, or doesn't really care. And actually they're helping with that project. But I guarantee that as soon as NCSoft finds out about it, there's going to be hell to pay. But like, my whole thing is, why not just allow us to open up these fucking servers? Give us the ability to open them up and play them. Like, before Classic was Classic, like WoW, like look at what Blizzard did to the WoW servers, or the people that held private servers. Holy fuck, man. It was like
Assist orders,
right. They went on a crusade.
Went to fucking court for a bunch of them.
When you're talking about someone that has spent $15 a month for decades, a decade plus on your game, fuck you. I at that point I have paid enough to own the rights to be able to hold my own private server. You know what I mean? Like, I just, that's my whole thing about it is like, if you read the terms and conditions, which nobody does, but like there are ones that I've actually gone through and read, it states blatantly right there that you own nothing, that you are basically paying for access to this, but you don't actually own it. Like,
well, that's the problem. That's the problem, and that's the problem that I've had since everything went digital. Honestly, like it used to be that you went and you actually bought a physical copy of a game that you fucking owned, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was in your hand as long as you had the disc. You owned the fucking game and you could play it, as long as it wasn't an online game, obviously, because you require servers for that. But it's like, as long as you own the game, like I still have a Gothic game someplace laying around. You can't buy that shit unless it's on Amazon, right? But I own that game, so I can do whatever I want to. But the shift from physical copies to digital copies to Steam and all these other platforms, it's like Steam allows you to rent games, essentially.
Yeah.
Right. That's basically what you're doing. If Steam goes down and completely shuts down tomorrow, my 260 or 300 fucking game library is gone.
Right.
It's
so
completely fucking gone.
Right. And here's the thing, right? So it's an easy fix, like to answer a couple questions in chat. So COVID, not the disease, but the actual person is basically asking, saying about like emulators. Like, if you're playing a game on an emulator, you own the physical game. Are you by law allowed to or legally own that game? No, you do not. It's, even though you physically own a game, emulating any kind of software is still against all TOS in terms of conditions for 99.9% of content that's out there. There are some people that are more open about stuff. Like CD Projekt Red is actually a very, very open company about these kind of things, and to the point that they were literally, when they had an issue with DRM DRM, right? Yeah, DRM issues with The Witcher, they were just like, fuck it. Like, we're just gonna make the game free. We don't, like, fuck pirating.
That's what I like about GOG and what's it called, the developers of CD Projekt Red. is that they're all about no DRM. If you obtain it and you have it, you can share it if you want to. It's entirely up to you. You own the game.
So
This
what
is yours.
what you're hearing about Crovid and saying that if you have the physical version that you can stream the emulated one is still technically against terms and conditions, against the law. There is no emulated software, regardless of even if it's built from the ground up by someone. So there are people that do speed runs, they do Kaizo runs, they do Super Mario runs, they do hack ROMs, they do all of this kind of stuff, right? All of that software, right, is technically by law illegal, and Nintendo could go after the streamers as well as the people that made the platform, right? The big thing is a reason why, and this is something that is I think not necessarily known across Twitch, but like the reason that it is difficult when you're either doing merchandising, licensing, logos, anything like that, and you have a licensed product or a trademarked product, technically they could come after you. For me, when I had all of the Marvel shit, Disney could have easily come after me. They're not going to, because it's too much of a headache and a hassle to come after me and Twitch because of the enormous amount of people that are using their stuff.
They've done it before, though.
Right, but they can.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo is notorious for cosplayers, bro. Nintendo hates fucking cosplayers. Can't stand them. Hates them. So, it's you have to be very, very careful. Digital is the... I agree with Plague Nemesis saying that digital is the way that we don't necessarily go. Where I think that the problem is that if we go with this idea that every single server is being controlled via the company versus P2P. Like, to me, P2P server fixes a lot of those issues, because then I'm hosting the server, I'm hosting the stuff, and yes, you're going to deal with lag issues, you could deal with all of this kind of stuff. But in the day and age that we live in now, where internet is, I know it's not wildly fast for every single person, but it's moderate, it's fucking better than what it was, 20, 30 years ago.
In a 30-player lobby, there's at least one person that's going to have a stable enough internet connection to host a stable game.
And let's be 100% honest, folks. How many fucking server-run games have you gotten into where it's complete dog shit? Like, let's be honest. It's not like this is the fucking it's the promised land.
Fallout 76 is fucking private servers that they said you would be able to host. You would be able to host yourself, and then they were like, actually, we want $100 a fucking year, so we're gonna host that.
That's Ubisoft right now too. Their servers have taken a big L after the most recent patch. On top of the influx of players, it's very difficult to stay in more than like 2 or 3 siege matches without you being disconnected from the server for who knows how long.
Yeah, I mean,
Ubisoft is just going downhill regardless. They've just been going downhill for the past year. It's ridiculous.
I mean, and it's not even just that. Like, it's not just game servers alone. Like, you're talking like, we have people that play League. The Riot Clients have been out for decades. It's been out for fucking forever. This game has not, graphically it's changed, but for God's sake, their servers suck. It just sucks, and it's not even complex.
It went down completely the other day for me and Crow. We were trying for like an hour just to get back into it. Just like clicking it, task manager closed, click.
How many characters have we had launched now in League? We've had there's well over a couple hundred, right? There's 100 plus easily. Like, I know for a fact there's 100 plus. They launch a new character once every quarter. Or a rework. The rework comes out, it breaks the entire fucking client. It's like, matchmaking doesn't work, match history doesn't work, this person's gonna get disconnected, store doesn't show up, I can't buy RP points, I can buy RP points. Like, it's fucking nutty.
No, you can buy RP points. They make sure that server's fucking worth it.
No, it's I don't know, it's fucking nutty. But again, to circle this all back, like,
but before we close it, though, right? We don't want to close it because we still have one topic that I really, really want to talk about, and that is the very final version of the spear, right? You have the tip of the spear where it was like, okay, they shut it down for a little bit. You have the middle of the spear where they shut down completely after a year, and then you have games like Illyria, Chronicles of Illyria, which is a game that I had been kind of looking forward to. I'd been kind of keeping my eye on. It was a kickstarted game from back about 2014. Exactly. We'll get to that. Don't you fucking worry, Billy. We'll get to that. So you got Chronicles of Illyria that's been in Kickstarter for about 4 years now, I believe, is what it is. They recently came down the pipeline about a week ago that they were closing down shop. They're closing down their entire company. $8 million kickstarted, right? I think they had $1 million kickstarted, and then they had another 5 million or 6 million, 7 million, somewhere around there. I kickstarted on another project, and then a little bit more on their main site, if I remember correctly. So they were fully crowdfunded, shut down completely. Nobody knows what the fuck happened to that $8 million. It's gone.
Just got up and ran.
I'll tell you exactly where that $8 million went, bro.
Bravo having a margarita.
Yeah.
Someone's got some nose candy.
Certain things have come to light as well. Like, they originally came out with a projection that they would require $4 million to actually finish the entire game. Right? They said that we need about $4 million to completely finish the game from start to finish. Boom. There you go. They got $8 million, used up $4 million. They still have $4 million missing. We don't know where it's at. So essentially, people are thinking that's what happened. Is like they've basically cut and run the creator of the game. Can't remember his fucking name, but the CEO of that studio has essentially ran with that money, more or less. And the weirdest thing is, like, the developers have said, they've come out and said that they're like, well, we would be fine with continuing to develop this game on our own in our own free time.
Something about CEOs and running with money. It seems to be kind of a familiar theme right now, you know.
But yeah, no, that's the biggest thing right there. Is like, Kickstarter is a very big issue right now, and I think that's they hold no accountability for the games that are kickstarted. Right? Like, if I was going to go to them and be like, yo, this thing's shut down, I want my fucking money back because I can't get it from them. Nope, it's not on us now. Once it goes out of Kickstarter, it's out of our hands. You got to go through them. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, dude.
It's a joke, but would you? Okay, so and this is the catch-22, right? Do we go and we have games that we want to fund, that we want to see, right? We believe in, right? Or and fund them and then have this happen, or do we have companies that do really, really well and then they shaft their fucking employees because they don't want to, pay them bonuses, even though the company does fucking phenomenal? Like, or you have games like Scum or H1Z1 or what was the other? What's that other fucking? They released the Culling. Remember that the Culling, and then the Culling 2.
The Culling
2 came out 6 months later, and then they fucking just trashed it. What the hell? Like, I don't know, man. It's just, dude.
I think Kickstarters and like Indiegogo, I think it's a great idea. I just think the precautions that they took and everything, just it's almost like unsafe to support things because you don't know whether the person who's actually making it is gonna stay true to their word.
I honestly, I have not kickstarted a game in like several years now. After some of the fiascos that I've had, like fucking Survival Infestation Stories, or War Z is what it used to be called. After War Z, I stopped kickstarting shit. I was just like, I'm done. That's no more. We're not doing that shit. I'm not about that life. I'm not about to get my fucking money taken away from me.
The last game I kickstarted was a game called Survive the Nights.
Oh shit! I did kickstart that. Oh fuck! I lied. That's
like 6 or 7 years ago. It took nearly 5 or 6 years just to come out with less like fucking an alpha.
A tech demo, dude.
Pretty much like a tech demo, and it was complete dog shit. Because I'll tell you what, I played that tech demo. And there was a glitch where if you ate a can of beans, you couldn't jump anymore. How does that happen?
That's true. You've not heard of that? That's
right. Apparently,
beanitis.
Have you ever tried to jump after a can of beans? You're lucky to not shit yourself.
It's like swimming after you've eaten, man. You just can't do that kind of shit.
It's a joke, honestly.
But yeah, the moral of that story is, don't kickstart shit anymore.
No.
That's my biggest thing. Unfortunately, to say,
don't eat beans.
It's got to the point where I can't do that. I can't kickstart shit. I have a really hard time these days with like early access titles. I don't usually buy into early access titles unless it's something that you guys are playing or it's a buddy of mine that's like, if they fuck up, we got like $20 worth of fucking early access fun out of it, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But
yeah, I don't kickstart things anymore, but sadly I still do buy into some of those post-apocalyptic survivals now.
Well, I mean,
I still do. They're my guilty pleasure. I mean, even if they look like decent, I'll try them. But I'll try them. But like Steam's return policy, I probably won't get my money back. So.
Here's the thing about it, though. I mean, some of those things are games that will the mod community will pick up, right? The community will pick up and run with it and do stuff with and run
Some of them have
and
that
do things,
chance,
right?
yeah.
Like, I mean, if you look at, for instance, what's that game that you play? Oh shit, it's glitchy as fuck.
Miscreated?
Yes, Miscreated.
Miscreated, yeah.
I was
Like-
about to say it's glitchy as fuck. Doesn't
Right,
really
it-
Gotta be
really
Miscreated.
narrow it
Yeah,
down too
it's
much.
Miscreated, and so it's
Mhm.
it's you know, it's glitchy, it's buggy, it's fucking wonk, right, and just completely out there. But at the same time, like I've seen a rabid community around it that actually does kind of keep the game somewhat alive and keep
It's
it
a small
moving.
one, but yeah, there's still at least like 100 players at play.
Right. So I think
Well,
that
keeps
the
it alive.
the mod community is honestly what kind of makes some of these games survive. It's the reason why, like, you're starting to see a resurgence in like DayZ, right? They
Mhm.
finally opened it up to the modding community, and now the modding community can get their hands on it and make it what it was prior to them fucking it over and making it its own game.
right.
Because
Well, I
it
mean,
was a better game. when it
Fucking
was
look at Black Mesa, right, or whatever else. Here. Like that game is, I mean, 100% was a mod that now they've actually released it, like, and it's a full thing. But
Mhm.
you know that it's, or they remastered it or did something with it. But I mean, like, or Gary's mod, for fuck's
Fucking
sake, man.
remasters.
Like those things have been, you know, something that the mod community really does take ownership on, and a majority of the shit. I mean. Again, we just talked about League. We talked about Dota. We talked about Here's the Storm. Guess what, guys? That all came from fucking a mod of Warcraft. Like, that's what that was. So the most played game in the entire world is a mod, like 100%. So I mean, I don't necessarily mind spending money on games that I want, like, to roll the dice and take the risk on, you know, and see. My issue is where it's just like a blatant disrespect and disregard for anything that is like human decency, and just to say fuck
Mhm.
you, and I'm gonna like blatantly take the
they-
money and run.
the biggest thing that stings with Chronicles of Valeria, at least, is that we don't know the full story. Like, you're never going to know the full story
Right.
of where that full 8,000 or 8 million went, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
if it was only slotted for 4 million and they got 8 million and they used up 4 million, there's a divergence in fucking cash flow there, right?
Yeah.
Like, where did that other 4 million go? And it went to the fucking CEO more than likely.
Oh, absolutely, dude. That guy, it went to hookers and blow, and probably them at the same
Probably,
same time.
Especially with the fact that the rest of the development company is like, we want to continue this game and we're willing to do it on our free time, and he's just like, nope, sorry, shutting it down, we're done, later bitches, I'm going to fucking Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Some shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it, you know, and that's what, honestly, like, what's that new game that you've got coming out, Scruffy, that you're looking forward to? That
Dead side.
Dead Side, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've not, I think I've heard like a little bit about it before, and like I did some research on it, and it looks cool, but I'm so fucking like, what is, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
it could be complete opposite of what they've shown you, because you don't know really that they can show you whatever to make things look fine, but like, until somebody actually plays it and says something about it, because I don't think there's been any beta tests or anything about that game. I've done some research. I don't think
no,
anyone's played it.
somebody's played out. They played alpha. There was alpha testing.
Somebody played
Yeah,
alpha?
there was alpha testing for it, because they talked about it in a couple videos I watched about alpha testing.
Okay.
People that came back said it was really good, but it's,
Then
I don't know. It's still such a fucking crap, dude. Those open, and
it's a hit or miss. So you gotta wait to see once you pick it up. Pretty much.
it's
and
something
play it
about
yourself.
open world games, like those open world survival games, man, that always
Mhm.
just are jank as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
Too much expanse and not enough, like, it's hard to test like every single thing with that much world to work with.
I mean, the
Yeah.
only,
Not like a bigger studio.
the one thing that I do like about this game is, or I'm interested in about it, is the fact that there is no, like, it's not zombie AI, which I don't understand the
Yeah.
whole dead side, like why call it dead side? Like, that doesn't fucking make any sense to me, because it doesn't.
The only AI that are in the game are like villains, or not villains, but like bandits and stuff, like looters and all that.
But
and they're, like,
even
controlled
then,
AI, but
I what I was reading about it was that the AI in there is only quest based, that you go and grab, like,
Mhm.
from the towns, but the purpose of it is that you go and grab this, and it's the interaction amongst everybody else that is what
So
causes
essentially
these.
it's a PvP.
yeah,
Yes, it's not
interaction focused.
PvPvE.
Pretty much
It's
purely
it's
PvP.
yes, it's a survival game that is PvP based. There is no PvE. Like you're not
So
like
it's what they were going with 76, basically.
I was about to say it sounds very familiar to 76.
Probably 76. It kind of takes you back to like the Arma days and, the
now
Arma
that now
DayZ
they're
days.
they're adding in fucking AI.
yeah. Well, but the difference in 76, the difference in 76 though, is that it's the AI that were in there. Like there were still AI components of going and getting the quest. This is like saying like a quest giver will basically say you need to go to this place and grab up a piece of loot, but if a group of bandits, a group of people come in and start like laying waste to this town, right? Then the quests just go to shit. Like everything just kind of goes to fucking up in the air or whatever else. And you don't know what's going on. And you have to basically like calm everything the fuck back down to be able to get that quest again. Like it's an interesting concept. And
Sounds like a griefing nightmare.
It can't be any worse than Rust. That was the fucking, we've talked about that many a times.
Well, you know,
being a delve into like the human brain and psyche. But it's interesting. I mean, it's an interesting concept, and I know this is off topic, but it I don't know. I mean, but it makes me worried. It makes me worried to be like, I want to try it. I want to play it, but I don't know if I'm willing to put the money into it. And I don't even know. Did they come out with a cost yet?
I don't think so. People estimated it's probably going to be 20 to 25, maybe 30 at most, hopefully. I mean, those are typical for your survival games really nowadays.
If it's fucking over $30, dude, it's not.
If it's over $30, how not? Yeah,
it's dead on arrival. I mean, it's dead on arrival.
Well, I'd probably still buy it,
with Chronicles of Lyria, I feel bad for like I got a free package out of it because my buddy had an extra package, but I feel bad for the people that spent like 10K and more. They had I think they had 21 people that spent 10K or more
for founder packs.
Kickstarter, yeah, for founder packs.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Kingship founder packs.
Star Citizen,
they're gone, dude. It's completely gone.
I mean, that's why
we can't talk about Star Citizen.
That's why I refuse to. I'm a huge supporter of Pantheon. I've talked about this for numerous times about I think that's going to be a phenomenal MMO. I will not dump a goddamn dollar into that thing until I actually see the fucking product. Like I've seen it. I've seen CodeCarnage stream it. I've watched the dev streams. I've watched dev videos. I follow all of their people. I talk to them. Great. I believe you.
And then go ahead. Sorry.
I said I believe you, but I'm not giving you a damn dollar until it ain't happening, bro.
Oh, and the worst part about Illyria is that they had tech demos, they had videos, they had actual gameplay that they were doing. They were actually fairly close to releasing an into beta. They had people that were playing it. They had tech demos. They had certain portions of it that were finished and looked polished. They didn't look terrible. It really didn't look terrible. It looked like it had promise. But yeah.
Well, and the crazy thing is there's 3 genres, guys and girls, that you can look to that will always have this fucking level of scam, scummy, nasty ass people. And it's MMORPGs, it's action RPGs, and it's open world survival games. Those are the three fucking.
You mean 2?
What?
Oh, wait, are we talking about I thought you meant genders. No, that's a joke. That's a joke. Please.
Oh, God.
That's a joke.
Fuck. Okay. All right.
3 genres. Back to it. Joke aside.
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna Carol Baskins your ass. Anyway, so again, 3 genres of MMORPGs, action RPGs, and open world survival games. Those are all the 3 that always get hit with these scams. You don't really see too many FPSs get hit with it because I think an FPS is just like, fuck it, it's an FPS, it's an arena shooter, whatever it's gonna be. There's really not much that has to be done. How many people kickstart a fucking arena shooter? You know what I mean? The reality of it is, unless you're fucking Lawbreakers and Cliff Bleszinski, and then you could suck a fat dick because you suck. I don't know if anybody knows Lawbreakers or kept up with Lawbreakers. You guys know what Lawbreakers is?
Yeah. Wasn't there something ties between Lawbreakers and Bleeding Edge?
No.
Okay, never mind.
No, we had a conversation about Lawbreakers while playing Bleeding Edge.
Might have been that.
But no, Enigma, Billy, you know what Lawbreakers is?
I know what it is. I never played it.
Okay, so Lawbreakers is a game that was developed by Cliff Bleszinski, who is, do you guys know who Cliff Bleszinski is?
No clue.
Gears of War guy.
Really? You don't know? Okay, cool. All right. Well, so this is like the
Cliffy B.
Cliffy B is considered himself as the grandfather of video games and the 90s and leading up to 2000s and whatever else. Creator of Epic Studios, Gears of War, Unreal Tournament, the Unreal Engine. That's all him. That's Cliff Bleszinski. Made this game called Lawbreakers was supposed to be this big thing. Like, you know, he was like, we're going back to our roots. We're going back to, like having, you know, that fast paced combat or whatever else. People bought into this. Dude, they had tournaments, esports. They were guaranteeing all of this stuff, dude. Just like millions upon millions of dollars. Game came out 3 months later, shut the servers down, shut everything down, killed everything, took the money, ran with it, no refunds, no nothing, and was just like, well, it just, you know, that we unfortunately we just didn't have the support that we needed, and people are like, bro, first off, you have millions of dollars, like millions upon millions of dollars. Guy drives around in a Bugatti. Like I've seen the car, I know the car. Like the dude is super wealthy or whatever else, and just took the money and ran. Like
there definitely really is a common theme on this podcast
CEOs,
today.
yeah.
Yep, CEOs are douchebags.
Yeah.
100%. And I could tell you one
Speaking-
that I really
speaking
want to talk
of-
about, but I can't.
Yeah.
So Bill, I'll let you take it away with Mr. Randy Pitchford over here.
So
Ooh,
Mr. Randy
Pitchford.
Pitchford of Borderlands 3 and Gearbox Studios decided that his development team was not worthy of a bonus because Borderlands, what he said is that it didn't meet the expectations and we were unable to give out the bonus, even though every marketing up until this point has said it's been their most successful game up till this point. It's been, what, 8 million copies sold worldwide?
Something like that.
Something. Yeah.
But they're not able to give out developer bonuses that they had promised them before the release of the game. But
I heard there was promises of nearly 6 figures for some of the longtime people too.
There were,
Yeah.
yes, and that's all been either reduced or done away with altogether.
So
But
so
two-
so
but,
Bill,
but 2K Studios has still given Randy a very, very nice
Oh, of
bonus.
course.
Oh, because he deserves it.
of
He-
course.
so let me get this straight. All right. So basically,
Okay.
what you're saying, and stick with me here because I know this is a rough one to follow. Right? Basically, what you're telling me and you're insinuating is that Randy Pitchford is a douchebag and a terrible CEO and a terrible person.
I
Is that what you're telling me?
understand. I understand it's really hard to believe given the guy's track record. He's been
You're
spot-free
telling
up
me
until this
that?
point.
Wow.
Of this angel, Bill, this angel, you're telling me that he's a douchebag?
I understand. I know it's hard to believe. I didn't want to believe it myself.
Is this the
And I've
is,
been
Tell me it
defending-
ain't so.
is this the same
I've been
Randy
defending-
Is this the same Randy Pitchford that brought us that phenomenal, amazing Alien Isolation game that we were, or
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that
Alien
Isolation.
Colonial Marines.
Colonial Marines, right? The one that
Mhm.
was that they showed, yeah, that one, that phenomenal hot
Yeah.
piece of hooker ass. That's
But
great.
I've been defending Borderlands 3 up until this point. I actually made a video on my YouTube whenever the boycott Borderlands 3 was going around when 2K like basically destroyed that one YouTuber's entire life. I've been defending this product. I was like, don't take it out on Gearbox Studios. Don't take it out on them because this is a 2K specific thing. Yes, 2K are scumbags, but you shouldn't boycott the game because it's going to hurt everybody that worked on the development team and all of that stuff. And what goes and happens, they fuck over the development team anyway from inside. And I'm just, I can't even.
And,
I
and you
wanted
know,
to believe that Gearbox could take the moral high ground on this and actually do what was fucking right with this
Mhm.
game. And the game was broken at launch too. Just throwing that out there.
yeah, and you know, at a meeting, he even said to all like the people who were complaining about not getting bonuses, he said, if you want to leave, you can just straight up go. He said you can just quit and get out.
It's ridiculous, man. Like
Oh my
Oh, yeah,
God.
exactly.
I've been saying it from the start, and
Yeah.
I'm not meaning to toot my own horn here because I don't want to, but I'm going to
But-
toot my own horn here. I said from the
Toot
start.
away.
I said from the start, Randy is a fucking tool bag. I have never liked Randy. I have never fucking liked Randy, even from the start. Borderlands 1, fucking always thought he was a douchebag. He's right up there with Cliffy B with me, right?
Mhm.
He's right up there with Cliffy B. And it did not surprise me the other day when I saw this come up. I was like, well, didn't fucking see that one coming, did we?
I mean, it's the thing is it's the era of I mean, that's still that generation or era of those CEOs that, like the Activision guys, like Cliff Bleszinski, like Randy Pitchford, like EA, you know, these guys and girls and, you know, gender neutral CEOs that are just, I don't know, man. They it's this idea of like, fuck everybody that works around me, fuck the world, fuck my clients, fuck my everybody. You know, it doesn't matter as long as I get to do a line off of some girl's ass. I'm completely happy, and that's great. And then I can burn my $3,000 bills and, you know, screw over my companies, and I don't give a shit. You know, and
it's a very big thing with the gaming community right now, and like game developers is if it's went from being one of those things where it's like we make games for gamers to we make games for profit.
Oh, right. It's not made for us.
Thing.
Like the indie games are made for us. They're made by us for us. These companies like this that do this crap, they're not. It doesn't even matter, and it's still even present in like games that are not even like you buy. Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare right now has got the Warzone is riddled with hackers, and they're all. And I'm sorry, like, but if you've got friends that are you know from Asian countries or China or whatever else, 90% of this shit is coming from China. Like, you look at these hackers that are like, I refuse to play that game right now until they fix this issue, because aimbotting, hacking, or whatever else. And when you go to watch these things happen, it's always a fucking Chinese name, a Chinese server, a Chinese person, like whatever else, like the Chinese characters. And the reality of it is that they don't even give a shit. They don't even care. Like, it's just like, oh, well, people are still playing the game. We're still making money. We don't give a shit. We could care less that it's destroying the economy of our game or whatever else in the like a player base. They just don't give a fuck. They had the
same issue in the last one, the Black Ops 4 Warzone or whatever.
Like,
the last
horrible like, it's just it blows my mind that this is, again, this goes back to what we talked about. It's allowed to happen. Like, and as gamers, you know what we do? We just like, oh, it's okay. I need more content. Give me more shit. Like, give me more stuff. Like, I don't know, man. It's just like we accept it, and they're just like, okay, cool. Like, we're just gonna continue to take this beating and pounding. We're gonna bitch and moan on Twitter, and then that's it. And then we're gonna buy into the next fucking Call of Duty that happens, and we're gonna buy into the next thing that happens or whatever else. And it's just stupid. Like,
this is the same exact things happening with Siege right now. Ubisoft, on top of the servers not being able to handle the increased load and whatever the fuck they did with the new patch. The new patch broke a ton of shit. The sounds bug where you think things are right in your ear and they're actually across the map. The lighting,
man, the sounds in that game's been trash.
It's even worse than you remember it.
Wow.
It's not good.
But there's also, in the higher elos, it's just riddled with hackers. There's people that you literally see just doing figure eights in the air, like inside of the objective, and killing people outside because they have the teleport hack where they can teleport their shots directly to other people. They have wall hacks. They have all this other stuff. They even have the ability to hold a game and like a group of players hostage.
Wow.
Like within a server. They can lock you into that server for as long as they want.
That's crazy.
You can't queue out. As soon as you can close the game, come back in, it'll still try to automatically reconnect you, and it won't connect you to any other games.
I used to think that game had like a good control on the hackers too, because they always showed in like the corner, like the bans and everything, the BAM like waves that would go through like every 30 minutes at least.
They did for a while, but with these most recent patches, I think it started at in November of last year, maybe earlier, something broke or some exploit came out, and the game is just absolutely done. As far as like, we're talking like challenger and platinum players, it's impossible to not get a game with hackers from what I've seen. There's a YouTuber and streamer that I follow called Godly Noob, and literally every game he queues into, there's a hacker, either on his team or on the other team. It's to the point he doesn't even care anymore. He's just like showcasing all this stuff on his YouTube. Like, yeah, these guys are showing off what a hacker can do and get away with. These are like the #1 challenger in Siege right now is a hacker.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's got like a 6.0 KD in Siege, which is unheard of.
That's a joke.
And so again, to address something that as far as chat is concerned, a lot of the statistics and things that I'm telling you about, as far as like where they're happening from, are also backed up by Activision stuff. Go and look up Activision's comments and their like statistics on where hacks are coming from, and they themselves are saying that it is coming from, like the Asian, countries, China, whatever else. Like,
it was a big issue with PUBG as well. A lot of the hacking in PUBG was Asian based, where the Chinese players were coming onto US servers. That's why they had to region lock their servers, because the hacking problem was so bad.
That's how it's always been, really. I mean, we have our own select share of hackers and hacking communities here in the West, but it's, for the most part, a lot of them do come from like Eastern markets, Russia, Germany areas, stuff like that. It's very, very, very prevalent.
I'll tell you how many times I get a notification on my phone from Russia that somebody's trying to log into my Blizzard account.
Oh yeah, or Steam. Holy fuck, man.
That's hacking accounts. That's a completely different story. It's ridiculous.
But still.
Is there a reason behind, like, is there a deeper reason for like Modern Warfare and stuff? Because I don't think there is for Siege. I know a lot of the Siege hackers are actually US based. They're US based players, just doing it to like get challenger rewards and stuff. But for like Modern Warfare and stuff like that, is there any type of grind that you can get through, like winning and hacking? Does it speed up a grind? Are they like able to sell those accounts off?
They'll sell off the accounts being, higher tier. It's a free to play game. A lot of it is just getting stats and things like that, like up. I mean, it's goes down to just the base of just wanting to troll the shit out of somebody. I mean, and really,
you see it more prevalently in free to play games for sure.
Right. And that's why, again, like, taking this even more full circle and keeping the podcast, like you guys fucked on, got me all about your transitions and shit or whatever else. But like, with Valorant coming out, guys, like Valorant is going to be a free to play game. Like, and I get that Riot is free to play. Riot or that League is free to play. League has its fair share of hackers and things like in that nature. It's not nearly as prevalent, but it's still an issue. But they aren't playing in the FPS world where wall hacks and things like that are significantly bad. Like,
it's all just scripts on
and
League,
it doesn't matter. Like, again, it doesn't matter. Like, chat saying like, oh, they've said that anti-cheat is their number one priority. It doesn't give a fuck. Anti-cheat should always be everyone's number one priority when it comes to a competitive online game. It doesn't matter.
The fact that it's free to play
faster than anything.
Right.
It's still gonna happen because it is just free to play.
And the issue here is like it shouldn't be it should be not even a 3-strike rule. Guess what? You hack and you turn on your hacks, you get banned. You turn on your hacks again.
IP banned.
Well, what I'm saying is you get banned the first time. You do it a second time, IP banned, shadow banned and you're done. You're just locked. Like,
good
you're
on
done.
Twitch for implementing that to their system.
Right, their shadow bans on follower on like or whatever. Yeah, like, so if Twitch can do it, on a massive scale, where what you're talking about, way more massive than any of these games are dealing with, like, give me a break, bro. Like, it's just a case of, you clearly know that they're cheating. You clearly can tell that it's an issue or whatever else. And Activision's thing of saying that they've got a team that is dedicated to manually checking. Are you fucking kidding me? This is 2020. We are manually checking cheaters now. Like, bro, you should be able to tell inside your coding to be able to be like, oh, someone turned something on that is like an auto aim, a wall hack, a glitch, or whatever. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. And Valorant, like CSGO, is rampant with fucking cheaters. I mean, it is rampant with cheaters.
I don't miss those days
like,
playing that game.
And guess what? That's a paid game. Like, you're about to step into a world where it's free, completely free. Like,
bro, when they went on sale for like $2.50, the amount of hackers that were on that game was just absurd.
Yeah,
Has EA acknowledged the hacking problem?
Who?
EA for Modern Warfare.
That's Activision.
Or Activision, sorry.
Yeah, that was their response. They said that they're like, we definitely take it seriously, and we've already banned 50,000 accounts, which is fucking nothing. 50,000 accounts in a free to play game where you're boasting that you have over 3 million people playing the game right now. 50,000, get out of here. And on top of that, it's a manual review process. Like, people are manually checking it. They have a team that's manually checking it. Are you fucking kidding me? So you got manual Mike back here going through every single fucking game to make sure that they're like legit. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, I don't know.
Ubisoft hasn't acknowledged the hacking problem at all. The only thing they've acknowledged is that their servers have been bugging out and their lighting and sound issues, but that's all infrastructure stuff on their end. They're not acknowledging the hackers whatsoever.
Yeah, of course they're not gonna acknowledge it. That's bad for their bottom line, man. If they acknowledge that they have a hacking problem, they're gonna get
Yeah,
But
but if their
fucking
best
Mass Effect's
players
supposed to be
can't
the
play
one
the game
thing.
without getting cheated on, then that's like, I know a lot of those top players are their content creators too. They're effectively ruined, like they're making it so that pro players can't properly train because their games are constantly being flooded with hackers. The
Yeah.
sound and all that stuff's not working. They can't get effective practice because the games are unplayable.
Then you know what? Here's
And-
here's the easy fix, guys. We don't want to. You know what? We don't want to build any kind of anti-cheat software. We don't want to build any kind of banning software. We want these guys to still spend money, play these accounts. Stick them all in the same fucking lobby. Stick them
Dude,
all in the
that's-
same fucking lobby.
One thing that I like. That's one thing that I like about Grand Theft Auto 5. They did a really great job with their bans for
a
their
cheaters
their
lobby?
cheaters.
Hmm.
Instead of like completely banning them outright, what happens is if you're caught cheating, you get like a dunce cap on your character. And then you're allocated into a separate server. I can't remember what they call it. I think it's like bad behavior server or something like that.
Pretty
And
much the
you're-
corner.
Yeah, you're literally playing with other people that are complete douchebags, complete dickheads, hackers, cheaters, everything. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean,
That's
so I
awesome.
have to. If I leave a match, I have to play in a leavers category with a bunch of people that
Yeah.
are most likely going to leave the game. So why not? But hackers get to roam free. They get to do, they get to be whatever. Put them all in like their little own fucking little private island and their little private servers, and they can just sit there and headshot, wall hack each other to death. Like, I mean, it's the same way that
Sounds fair.
it's the same way we deal with the COVID virus. Put them all on an island, let them all, have the disease together and be done with it. But I'm kidding. by the
My
way.
biggest
The-
thing is I don't understand how, like, a lot of the hacks, I haven't played much Modern Warfare recently, but I know it's a problem. But as far as Siege goes, a lot of the hacks fundamentally break like how the characters and stuff play in the game. There's a speed hack right now where you can just go as fast as you want. The auto aim hack that lets you like teleport through walls and stuff. It literally turns your character into a dreidel, basically.
I
just
love spin
spinning
botting.
throughout the map.
It's great. It's fun to watch that. Not
But you
not
would
fun to play
think
with it.
you would think that the game would like realize, hey, this isn't what we're programmed to do. This isn't normal, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in Modern Warfare, the thing about it is that it's wall. I mean, it's your typical stuff. It's wall hacking. It's aim hacking. I mean, it's things where people are literally able to, and it's rapid firing of like a fall, right, or an FAL, of being able to single shot, or
Basically full auto.
right, exactly. So what you can see it when you're watching, when people are literally just like, again, you can auto track someone's head, like going as they're falling down, like they're just downing people left. I mean, it's just insane to watch these people drop 40 kills in a game. Like
Yeah.
the best players in the world, like Tim Matapman, Nade Shot, watching Courage JD, Symphony, all of these guys play these games. They're dropping, 13 kills in a game, 14 kills in a game. That's normal. When people are dropping 30 by themselves, like obviously there's something weird going on, right?
That should
Right.
alert red flags.
Right. It's just it's crazy. I mean, it just is crazy. And again, it doesn't seem like anything is being done. And the only I don't remember what company it was, but there was a company that did have a system that they used that was very similar, I think, to Grand Theft Auto, but it was like instead of putting them in their own server or having a dunce hat, it basically made the game essentially not worth playing because everything that you did, it just erased it. Like
It was Doom, wasn't it? One of the Dooms had like a hacking or
yeah, I
something.
can't remember. It was some game, and I want to say it was something of like a third person like RPG style game that you would, if you would amass your wealth and then it would just wipe it out. Like literally, it just as soon as the transaction was done, your account was wiped. Like it was just
There was one cool like way of like contradicting hackers that I seen. It was in CS:GO called Overwatch, and it pretty much gave the ability of any player in the game. I think at first you had to sign up for it, but then I think it gave access to anyone to pretty much spectate people that have been reported, like games, like past games of CS:GO, and you could pretty much spectate it and pretty much if the person was hacking, you could then report them again from that footage. I don't know if it ever led to many bans or if it was very effective, but I thought that was a cool system.
I mean, the only
just
issue that I
to
can
have.
see with that is like if you have like with community based ban systems, you can come to an issue where like if someone wants to be a dickhead, right, and they have a huge
Yeah.
community, you know, and whatever else, like let's just say one of these troll communities, like Ice Poseidon's community or something like that, wanted to completely destroy someone, they could easily go in and just mass report and get that shit taken care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
That is true
Right.
too.
I mean, that's a risk that you're going to take regardless. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
If you have some sort of community, what's it called, like reporting option, it's a risk that you take regardless of whatever. You know, if you have a big enough community, even in League, right? League does it all the time. At least they used to, where you can mass fucking report somebody and they would get banned for 24 hours.
Their reporting system is actually fairly decent.
It is now, but
yeah.
I
It
remember
used to be
back
shit.
When I first started, it was shit.
Yeah, it was complete shit.
And
Yeah.
if you pissed off an entire team, or if you pissed off like one person and they were in a fucking team of like 4 other people, you were done. You
Yeah.
were gone for 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean so now it is actually basically what it does is it flags the account and then they go back and review it. Like I mean they still have a manual review process or whatever else, but they actually have an internal system that's built that monitors at least chat, you know, because that's the biggest thing to be able to monitor. Like you can't just monitor gameplay if someone ints down mid lane or whatever else. But it's basically it monitors chat. So if a certain word is used a numerous amounts of time or a certain amount of time, then it's auto flagged. But
Yeah, they do go with kind of banning toxicity in the chat.
And
And
the
stuff.
thing is like when you're looking at manual versus like a bot or a machine, you know, or some kind of a program, we're not talking like YouTube level of fucking algorithm,
Jesus
right?
Christ,
YouTube is insane when it comes to algorithms, when it comes to banning people for certain shit. It's like if you say a single word, you're done. You're gone. And then you can review it and stuff, but it takes forever for the fucking reviews to come in. Obviously, we're not saying that, you know, it should all be bots. It should all be mechanics driven by some kind of program. But I do feel that a cheat program of some sort is a necessity in most online games these days. And if you don't have it, I don't understand why you don't have it. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, well, and the thing too is that I think that, you know, my thing would be have it be machine done, and then the process to unban is manual. Like because if you are not doing anything, then you don't have anything to worry about. Like the likelihood of me getting sent banned because someone thinks I'm hacking is very, very low. Yeah. Like it's slim to none. Whereas, you know, if I do get banned and I go and I say, look, I'm not, like, I don't know where this came from, and manually review it then, like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know. I mean, to me, it should be reversed versus being a manual review process to see if someone is fucking hacking. No, just fucking like be done.
Manual review is also a lot slower too. If you can get a bot like made super duper well, it can single-handedly fix any of your issues. I don't know how hard it is for them to program something to auto detect, but
yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean,
I
do
need to figure it out because these like the hacking and all that stuff, it's causing like more infrastructure damage than just the games themselves. Keemstar on Twitter is thinking about like his Warzone Wednesdays have only been up for a few weeks, and he's already planning to just stop the events altogether because they can't get fair games for these players because every game they go into, they're getting stream sniped by hackers.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're talking out of 5 games, you're likely that you're probably going to see anywhere between 2 to 3 games have cheaters in it, and that's what you're seeing, right? That doesn't mean that people are not downing these cheaters at some point in time, but 2 out of 5 games is too much. Like that's insane. That's a huge amount of
right
things. So
and in a professional like bracket style format, that's enough to kick somebody from a bracket if they get in a match with a cheater coming like gunning for them.
Yeah, I mean, I refuse to play the game at this point. Like, I love it, I like it, I enjoy it. I refuse to play
same.
it. I will not play that game. Like, I will not play it until it's fixed.
That's sad.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of people feel the same.
Yeah. You know, and so moving on into kind of games that we are playing, right? We kind of spent some time talking about all this kind of stuff. You know, games that we are playing. I have been playing through Ori and the Will of the Wisp, which I talked a little bit about last week.
Did you end up beating that?
I've not beaten it yet.
No.
I have not beaten it
still
yet.
waiting for Stevens to play. Oof, right?
Watch.
You're still waiting
Yeah.
on
So
Stevens to watch.
yeah. So the anybody that is kind of in my that does come to my channel and watch my community, I am the type that like I'm not just gonna play through an entire game like unless I'm just absolutely drawn into it, which I am. I love Ori, but there are viewers that I have that are literally they tune in to watch this game, and like when they are there, I will try to play that game for them. So I'm kind of doing a slow playthrough of that of Ori, but it really is a phenomenal game. And I know that we talked about it a little bit last time, Bill, when we were discussing like the play style of it. Is it, you know, you're seeing the same kind of mechanics being used and the same weapons being used throughout. What I'll say is like up to the point that I got to just recently, where I would say I'm probably about halfway through the game now. And this is where it really opens up, and now you're starting to explore more areas. You're doing more things. It becomes a situation where you have to start using more of the abilities. Like you can't just use the same like hammer, right? The melee stuff. Like there are things where it becomes more of like, I need to use the wisps, I need to use the boomerang, I need to use this to be able to make it functional.
So since the first one came out, Hollow Knight came out, and do you think at all it was inspired by Hollow Knight in a way? Because I've seen some kind of similarities of Hollow Knight in that game, from how like the zones work and get into them and everything.
Well, Ori came out before Hollow Knight. Ori in the Blind Forest and then Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I'm saying between Ori and the Blind, do you think the new one was maybe inspired a little bit also by Hollow Knight?
I think so. I mean, I think that a lot of probably what connects it the most and what I get like a Hollow Knight feel from is the world being connected. Whereas like in the first one, you had zones that you went to. So like you would go and you would say, you know, I'm going to go to this area in this zone. It's going to load a complete map, right? Whereas this is all one kind of seamless open spot. So I can just kind of go just like how Hollow Knight did. You know, and
I'm happy they went that route, full Metroidvania with it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good route. Yeah.
The cool thing about the game is like they've really got smart with the puzzle mechanics and just, or not even puzzle, just the movement mechanics of the game. In the first one, I feel like it was very more combat heavy. And you know, you use the world around you to get around stuff, and there were some jumping puzzles and things like that. But in this one, it's so much of like using the world to really go places that you may not necessarily should be able to get to out of the gate. If you can do it properly and you can time your jumps properly, you can get there. And then also to be able to use that to defeat enemies in an effective way. So it just makes the game very, I think, palate cleansing, because it's just like I can play this in a very different way than what I would normally play these kind of games. The one downfall that I have, and one thing that I don't like about it, is the fact that I feel that they give you too much health and they give you too much mana. Like
What difficulty are you playing on?
Hard, like the hardest difficulty.
Is there another one that's unlocked after you finish the game the first time?
There may be an in-game plus, but even still, like
you should
the amount of health that I'm getting. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm 50% in, and I probably have at least, I would say maybe 10 to 11 health bubbles, which is massive. I mean, when you're talking about most of these,
especially compared to the first game. I remember I played through the first game on the hardest difficulty as well, and anything like it was basically 2 shots throughout the whole game.
Yeah, no, this is not like in the facts that I am using, because I have so much health, I'm using that to get iframes to be able to get to places that I probably shouldn't be able to get to.
Maybe they're catering to the speedrun community in that.
Maybe. I mean, it may be a thing like that. You know, and it just is a thing where I feel like maybe like if it is hard, if I'm playing on hard mode, that should be like way down, like just take it way down. But I'm getting these things like fucking candy, and maybe again it's because I'm exploiting the map, I'm exploiting areas to get to, that I'm getting these you know crystals to open up these bubbles to give me more stuff. But I don't feel like I am. Like I feel like, yes, I'm being smart about how I'm jumping and I'm being crafty about it, but I'm not like going above and beyond to try to break the game to get this stuff done. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting, but I love the game. It's beautiful. The soundtrack is fucking gorgeous. It really is a great game, and I do recommend playing. I think it's on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, please like go check that game out. Like if you're a fan of Metroidvanias or platformers, it's a phenomenal game. So
cool.
What else? What else? I know, Bill, you're doing a bow. Well, you just finished a bow run, right? For Dark Souls 3.
I finished bow only. Got the last 3 bosses of the DLC done last night. It was a lot of fun. Good times. Wasn't as difficult as I was expecting. It basically just made the boss fights drag out a little bit longer, but
It looked like a
was-
fun run.
oh yeah, it was super refreshing because the whole reason I wanted to do it was because as much as I've played those games, I've never given the bows any kind of love. Like if I ever went a range style build, it was always magic based. So I wanted to give that a try, and it pleasantly surprised me. It was really, really rough at the start. Most of my deaths were within the first half of the game. And then after that, once the build actually like scaled where it needed to be, it was really viable, and it was a lot of fun just to do. It was a nice change of pace, and that's what I love about a well-made Souls-like is the build diversity and the amount of options you are given. It makes the replayability of those games infinite almost. Well, not infinite, but it gives a significant amount of replayability.
A lot of replayability.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, those.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna say. I mean, I think that that's one of the things that a lot of I think devs, even like someone like Remnant, like lost kind of sight of is that that replayability there of being able to be of being like super difficult and playing in multiple different ways, and being able to just kind of experience the game from different perspectives and angles. Because Remnant, for the most part, like it's melee, and then it's like there's different weapon build outs, but for the reality, there's not a. I mean, it's just
Remnant would have done a lot better if it had a more like you had to commit to a play style instead of eventually you're going to unlock everything. If you had to like a set amount of points where you can put in and you have to commit to this play style or this weapon group, like if they had some way of like linking you to like, oh yeah, you're gonna be proficient in the hunter pistol and the assault rifle, good luck with trying to use a shotgun then, bitch.
right. Well, that and I think they would have also benefited, and we've talked about this numerous times, from an RNG based loot system versus being a guaranteed loot system. You know what I mean? Like
that's my biggest complaint about the entire thing is like I still to this day I'm just like rip, man. Like they could have done so much more if they would have went down a more almost Diablo-esque loot system, right? Where it's like you only have a certain amount of abilities and a certain amount of things to drop, like items to drop, but you're never guaranteed if those drops are actually going to be decent.
Yeah,
Or-
it would have made it so much more exciting too, because like even just finding like those purples on the ground, just a ring or something, it's just a duplicate, so you just get like some currency back or whatever it is.
right.
It's
Yeah.
not that exciting.
They could have added random rolls on the weapons and the rings and stuff too to like add variety and actually give you a reason to play on the harder difficulties. Like you're only going to get level 35 hunter's pistol with this stat loadout, but if you play on a hard mode, you can get that level 50 hunter's pistol.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, RNG the stats, RNG like take things from Destiny, take things from Diablo, all of that. And I think when I watch you play it, man, when I see you play Remnant, I really do get heartbroken because I'm just like, fuck, man, I want to.
Same, man.
I want to. I want to
good.
play that game. Like
Everything about that game, like mechanics wise, atmosphere wise, enemy wise, like they nailed almost every aspect of that game except for the longevity in the end game and the replayability.
Yeah.
Like that initial playthrough, like that week or two that
We had so much fun.
that we-
man.
It was great.
we had a great time, but then there's just nothing, and they're not pushing out meaningful content fast enough to keep people interested. Like you can introduce a new dungeon in Earth, but with your adventure mode added in, people are going to get that within 5 hours probably.
And by the time adventure mode came too, it was too late
That's
for
it,
probably most of the people.
No, like legitimately from the start, I was always of the mindset that I have no idea why they released
Adventure
without
mode
adventure
wasn't.
That made
They
no
wanted to add
fucking sense
artificial
to me.
longevity.
Yeah, I was like, that made no fucking sense to me. Like the longevity, even if it was artificial longevity, like people literally finished that game in 2 days.
Yeah.
Literally, I don't know what they
And they were
expected people to
done.
like take a week or something to finish the game. It was a pretty fast game, to be honest.
But again, you got what you paid for with that game.
Yeah.
It wasn't a full priced game. and I definitely have gotten like my dollar per hour for that and then some. So
I mean, I think I have like 60 or 80 hours on that.
it was just the way they marketed it. It seemed like it was going to be more, and from it being advertised as a Souls-like third-person shooter, you kind of get that kind of expectation because the Souls-like games have that kind of longevity. They have ways of making it so that each playthrough is fresh, even if it is like static weapons, static bosses, static enemies. Hell, Remnant didn't even have static bosses. There was boss variants for everything. They had all the cards in their hand to give it that good longevity, and it just, I feel like they needed a solid stat system instead of like the perk cards. I feel like if they had like put into accuracy, put this into close range, put this in the long range,
Melee could have been huge in that game. I feel like Melee was a little underwhelming for me. I'd still played with it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun, but I think it could have been a little bit better.
Man. Put the spikes on, put the defense buff on, and then just hammer swinging.
I had this awesome life leech build with those spinning freaking sights, bro.
Yeah,
dude, it was fun for sure. But I feel like if I could have if we would have had some of those systems to really roll the things, it'd have been a lot better.
I guess here's my question then. So sitting here really thinking about Souls, right? Souls has static weapons that drop off the enemies, right? They have static bosses, right?
Right.
They have essentially a static system, a stat system. I mean, there's nothing that really changes stat wise. I mean, other than the fact, like, you put points into the stats, but that's it. What makes the Souls game so much better and replayable than Remnant? Like, I mean, the
fact that the way they've got the game laid out, in one playthrough you're only going to be able to commit to a single type of play. There's only enough resources to commit to a single, like a couple weapons. Maybe in that bow run that I just did, I only had the materials to max out 2 weapons and partially level a third. I didn't even hit 100 by the end of the game. I only had the points to put into my damage stats and health. Basically, I put a little bit into endurance, but if I was trying to do like a full builds, like have everything viable, it would have taken 2, maybe 3 playthroughs with that single character to actually get that done. And then on top of that, there's 7 new game plus cycles that add more and more difficulty to that game. Yes, it's still all the same stuff, but that increased health pool, that increased damage pool makes it so that whatever points you're putting into that character aren't going to be as meaningful. And that adds to that difficulty. And some people strive for that new game plus 7 difficulty level.
That's what kept me going back to playing Bloodborne over and over and over again, was really the notoriety and having the big peen of being like, you know what, fuck this, I can beat this game on NG plus, you know what I mean, or whatever it may be.
You were playing Remnant even in E3 on like the hardest difficulty.
Yeah,
like first
and I was
round,
I was smoking, and again, and I think Crovid hits the nail on the head here in chat by saying, like, the reality of it is that the bosses were harder. Like, Remnant was not a super difficult game, and that because you add guns into it, you can outrange some of the bosses.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that. Remember, we did that fucking dragon boss.
I was gonna say, the moss on the dragon.
Boss, it took us forever to fucking kill that thing, even with 3 people.
Yeah, but that's one. But you're talking about one boss. You're talking one boss out of.
I do agree with you. There was definitely
the butcher was pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean,
there's definitely a difficulty curve that's there.
Yeah,
I think
tell you what, day 1, that end game boss was just it felt like it was impossible.
That was because it was broken.
It was broken. Yeah, the mechanics were completely broken.
Yeah, and it could have been. It was a really cool boss if it would have worked right.
Yeah,
off the bat.
I mean, I think that the thing about the Souls games is that From Software had, like, it's just, maybe even Sekiro though was a little bit less of a like Souls.
So Sekiro is, I don't consider it a Souls like. Yes, it's made by From Software. Yes, it's got kind of that you lose some resources when you die, but it's so linear and so static. Like you don't even get a weapon choice. You don't get any armor choice.
Right. But
It's
that's what I was going to
just-
say. It's not really a Souls style game, but even still in that style of game, it is one of those things where anything could kill you. And I felt like in Remnant, it was the bosses that would really fuck you up. And even
Yeah.
then, it still wasn't one of those things where it was just like, oh, like it
Except
was
for
super
Rom.
difficult.
Well,
Um,
and the one thing that
Yeah.
I'll give Remnant over like the Souls games in general is that I think that for the team that created it, they did the best that they could do.
Oh yeah,
Right.
for sure.
again,
you're,
yeah.
you're looking at
Yeah.
you're looking at like Dark Souls, that's been a staple in the fucking like. I mean, they have an entire genre named after it. It's Souls-like genre, right?
Right.
Versus an indie dev that did they did an
Well, no,
admirable
yeah,
job.
this-
Right?
this
they
is-
did a very good job.
This is Demon Souls. This is Demon
Yeah,
Souls for them.
yeah.
I mean, if anybody has gone back to ever, like people that say like Dark Souls has been great forever or Souls games have been great forever, go back and play Demon Souls. The
Yeah.
Demon
Dude,
Souls
even
legitimately was a fucking rough game to play. Like,
even to this like even modern day, I have trouble going back to play Dark Souls 1 just because the mechanics are rough in
Yeah.
comparison to what the modern standard is. Like, I understand Dark Souls 1 is a great game, and the first time I played that game, I was blown away by everything about it, but it is so hard to go back to
Well,
for me personally.
and I think too to hit on something else that I just dawned on me. It's also the mystery. The mystery behind the Souls world. Like, you'll find a shiny rock. You don't know what the fuck that does. No one understands anything about what it does. You just kind of fumble your way to figure out what does a shiny rock do, right?
No.
Like, whereas in Remnant, everything is kind of explained. It's not like you found this thing, what do you do with it, right? Like, it's very, linear in a way.
You go back to the hub and they just kind of tell you exactly what it does.
Right. Like
Yeah.
there's not
Yeah.
this like idea of like, oh, like there's some mystery and kind of like, I don't know. Again, like you find, I remember everybody knows it. Everybody can remember the birds from, I think, Dark Souls 2, if I'm not mistaken, in the nest that is up there. That's like squawking. It's like squeaky, squeaky, shiny, squeaky, squeaky, smooth, or silky, smooth. Like, everybody knows what I'm talking about if you played
Right.
that game, but no, you know what I mean? Like, if you didn't know to give the rock to that, and it would give you something, you would just pass it by and be like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things that, like, I think you're right, Enigma. It 100% is a game that this is their Demon Souls. I'm excited for Remnant 2. Let's see what they can
Yeah.
do really behind getting their stuff behind them.
The one thing that I can say about them is that, like, I think they've got a solid footing underneath them, and I think that the one thing that Dark Souls have over them is just time. They've
Right.
got
Yeah.
lore behind them, they've got time behind them, they've got more games
Mhm.
behind them, and I am looking forward to more from Remnant. It's just they need to work on that delivery pace, right? Like,
I just
it's been a
hope that-
fucking year with nothing.
Yeah.
I
pretty
just
much.
hope this isn't an IP that they abandon after they get their
Yeah,
roadmap
I'm
finished.
hoping not too, man. Like, I think that
Because I
what they
think I
have
think it
is
did
solid.
well from everything that I've seen. It actually
it did do well, yeah.
for,
Yeah.
for me seeing no marketing on the fucking game. I saw absolutely fuck all marketing for that game.
Mhm.
It sold really well from what I understand.
I
There were
didn't find
big-
out
there were
about
big
it
streamers
before
playing.
like a
I know
week.
Baru was playing it.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, I like I said, let's just see what they do with the second one. You know what I mean? This is they've got the money now. They've got, I think they did an okay job. It's not a terrible game, and I think it's fun to go back to every once in a while and kind of play it from there. So, and what there was a Souls game that you were talking about, Bill, that was coming out or is coming out. Something?
Hellpoint?
Hellpoint. Yeah. What is
I
this? What is
looked
it?
at that
Yeah.
a little bit.
I haven't looked
It-
at it.
it
yet.
looks
I
really
saw
good.
that-
It
I saw that you
looks-
posted a video about it. I need to go and watch it.
Yeah, it's a new game that's coming out in the Souls-like genre. It's made by a studio. This is their first game, so take that with a grain of salt. But they're being backed by the production studio that did like the Hello Neighbor games. They did that Graveyard Keeper game. So they've
I
got a
played that
few
game.
like bigger games on their radar. Nothing of this caliber, but give me 1 second and I can give you more info. But it comes out in 2 weeks from today.
Hmm.
It's
I didn't know it was that soon.
Yeah. It's there's a demo out for it right now on Steam if you want to look at it.
I have to go and check it
It's
out, man.
called Hellpoint. Demo is called Hellpoint: The Thespian Feast, I think it is, and it's about a 1 to 2 hour. The cool things about it is it's a cosmic horror style game, kind of like what Bloodborne was, but instead of being set in like Victorian, like where the H.P. Lovecraft stuff was normally set, you're actually going up into space and going to meet the cosmic gods head to head.
Yeah.
Is that like
But-
the Surge? No.
It's like
I'm catching like a cyberpunk meets.
yeah, everything
Dark
that
Souls
a lot of
feel to it.
the people that are talking about it are like the big comparison right now is Dead Space meets Dark Souls.
Yeah, I catch
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But from what the demo had, at least, and I haven't played the demo, but I've looked at a little bit of it. It's got different build routes. It's got all the stuff that you would expect from a normal Souls like, but it kind of takes a few things from that Remnant formula. I don't know if this is what the game is going to be like on release, but at least in the demo, it randomly generates you a build. So this is, I'm assuming, some place that's going to be like in an early to mid point in the game, what the demo covers, if it's even a point in the base game at all. But you go through, all the enemies are like, they're not like static positioned. They're like procedurally generated. Every time you die, the enemy positions will change on you.
Huh.
They have a spawnable elite system like what Remnant has, and they also have multiple different bosses similar to what Remnant had. I think the demo has 2 different bosses that you can potentially fight once you get to the end game. Same arenas, but different bosses.
When does this
the
launch?
platform?
Sorry.
Huh?
April 26th.
April 22nd.
Yeah. But the levels are static, so that's different from Remnant. The enemies that you're going to find in the areas are going to be static, and the bosses, there's not like the variant system like what Remnant did, but they are kind of going on that like procedural mobbing and procedural boss, like which boss are you going to get, where the mob's going to be. Oh, I just died to this guy, where's he going to be next time? It kind of makes it so you can't prepare for that. And they have a jump button, a designated jump button, so there is going to be some platforming involved as well.
Is there a multiplayer aspect to it or no?
There's online multiplayer and split screen multiplayer.
Okay.
Interesting.
Is there going to be like invading, do you think, like Dark Souls has?
I believe on the Steam page they have PvP listed, but they haven't went into detail about it.
I was really sad that, because Remnant was supposed to have a PvP element that they never really fledged out.
I think
Well,
they're
they
still
dropped it.
gonna be. Did they drop it?
No, I think they're working on it. They say they're working on it, but they dropped it for release because they felt that they wanted to watch, or they wanted to focus on like the main core aspects before they did any PvP.
There
remember
is
correctly.
in the Hellpoint game, does have the online PvP tag to it. So
It's
I'm
it's a
assuming
Steam release,
if not on release, they're gonna have an arena
Yeah.
at some point.
and it's Steam.
It is Steam, yes.
What's the price point?
Is it full price?
It does not say, which is a little unsettling. There's no price point to it right now. They just have the release date up. This is another Kickstarter project, so I don't know if that's
Risky.
Yeah, it's risky. It's something that the fact that there's no price point has me a little sketched, but they do have that free demo out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's made by the same guys that make, or at least it's published by the same people. It's the Tiny Build that made like
Tiny
Hello
Build, yeah.
Neighbor and
Yeah.
Hello Neighbor and a couple other great
Yeah,
ones.
Cradle Games is the
mean,
For these kind of games, average price point from like 30 to, you know, if it is a really full game, 260 is kind of expected, I'd say.
I
But,
would $60 is way too much for any. I mean,
Yeah.
well,
honestly,
I'm saying if it's on the line of Dark Souls, like actually,
even still $40, man.
If
For
I-
a,
I would
had to
say
bank a
40 is
price
like a
on
good
this,
price. Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to bank a price, it's going to be 35 or 40.
Yeah. Because that's what
just
Remnant did. And I think that was perfect.
Just from what they're toting it at. And yeah, like you said, Tiny Builds have good track record with
I
their
mean,
games.
most of their games are like between the $20 and $40 range.
Yeah.
So
And most of their games are good. Streets of Rogue is amazing. The Hello Neighbor games,
Pathologic. Yeah.
I've never played them, but they were good. Pathologic, like you said.
Mhm.
Party Hard was fun. Graveyard Keeper's fun. they have a good track record to them. So I'm hoping this new dev
we'll see what
studio
happens.
will really bring something good. And it looks like, from what I've seen, it's got enough unique going for it that it could become one of the better Souls-like games. It kind of has a combat system that looks more close to Code Vein than it does any of the other ones.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's good or bad. I haven't played Code Vein
Code
yet
Vein
either.
was
But
Code Vein's. Honest to God, Code Vein is a sleeper hit that people really should fucking look at.
I'm planning on getting it eventually next time it goes on sale
Dude,
or
if
whatnot.
if you pick it up, let me know because I would love to play co-op with you.
Sounds good, man.
Like,
yeah. But if you enjoyed Code Vein, everything I've looked at, the combat styles, like the way the weapons behave, the way the enemies behave, seems very Code Vein-esque.
I was watching a video and it didn't look, and maybe he wasn't just using it, but it didn't look like there was any sort of lock-on system. It was all kind of free. Do you know? Have you seen anything?
I'm planning on playing the demo tomorrow, so
Okay.
I
Yeah,
will know
yeah,
more
I'm planning
about
on
like
picking up
the
too.
actual like hard mechanics of it.
I was wondering about that. Mhm.
But yeah, I noticed that as well. I don't know if it's like a lock on that just doesn't have a like an aim reticle,
Oh yeah,
or
right.
if there is no lock on.
It might just be really mellow. I don't know.
We'll have
Which
to
with most
revisit it.
Souls games, I don't lock on anyway. So
We'll have to
Gotcha.
revisit it next podcast. I think I want to pick it up and try it at least.
yeah, and that's what I
So
was, yeah.
So I've got a question from chat from Chicken Boy. He was wondering. I haven't played, but if anybody, what do you guys think about Star Wars Fallen Order? If anyone has played it or seen it, what do you guys think?
I picked it up. I watched Crovid, one of our stream team members. He played it for a long time, and I thought it looked good. Like I know it got really great reviews in a time where I think it's Activision wasn't producing the best Star Wars games.
Yeah,
Right.
And they were kind of going against the grain where they were saying, you know, we don't want any more single player focused video games. We want to move more towards multiplayer video games. Single player RPGs are taking the past. Nobody ever wants to play those things. I think they were dead fucking wrong on that. Like they and it shows. They sold very well. Star Wars Fallen Order, from what I remember, sold very well when
it looked polished. It really did.
It was about a month after release. The initial release of that game, it was pretty buggy for the most part, but they fixed it really fast. And
oh, okay.
But the core of it was actually decent.
Oh yeah.
When it came to like Star Wars video games in the past from Activision, it's been complete trash.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it was definitely a breath of fresh air. And
Yeah.
what my chat's
EA, not
saying,
Activision.
I haven't played it personally, but they're
Which
saying
one is it? Is it Activision or
It's
EA.
EA? That's what I mean. I always get EA and Activision mixed up because they're both shit companies and nobody
Yeah.
take from them.
But from what
Yeah.
my chat's saying, it's really good. They're saying it's like Dark Souls mixed with like Tomb Raider puzzle solving. So and like the wall running mechanics and stuff like that, like the Tomb Raider platforming and puzzles mixed with Dark Souls-esque combat.
100%.
I've seen good things.
Give From Software every one of these fucking IPs. Give them Tomb Raider. Give them Star Wars. Give them fucking Avengers. Give them everything. I want them again. Like
I stand From Software forever.
Star Wars would do phenomenal in a Souls environment. Phenomenal in a Souls environment. I mean, they just absolutely phenomenal in a Souls environment. It really would.
Yeah,
I just wish that they would do an actual decent, like, don't get me wrong, Star Wars The Old Republic is a great MMO. It's awesome for what it was and when it released, but they need to get a new Star Wars MMO out, and preferably action combat if at all possible.
I mean, yeah,
That's
no,
my
I
opinion.
mean I don't have a problem with Old Republic necessarily.
Neither do I.
I think
I thought it was a great video game.
I just think that honest to God, I don't know why it didn't succeed. It didn't. Wait, hold on a second, because there's fucking rabid fan bases with that. It's not that it didn't succeed. I don't think I don't know why it didn't do as well as what it should have done.
The one thing that I can say is, and I think this might have a big thing to do with it. I don't know for sure when exactly it happened, but when they went free to play, I think that hit them really hard because of all the stuff that they put behind the paywall. Right.
Yeah. Oh no,
Like,
well
I went back and played
that
it
absolutely
recently.
yes. But
I went back and played it recently, and they have a core mechanic in all MMOs to hide your helmet is behind a subscription.
right.
You can't
they-
hide your helmet.
They
unless
nickled
you
and
have a
dimed it
subscription.
now, but I'm saying like at launch,
Yeah.
why that game did not stay as successful as what it should have, because
it's
in
just
all
like,
honesty,
listen,
it had so much right. I mean, the classes were good, the combat system was fluid, the dungeon system was great, the drop system was great, the raid system was great. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why it just didn't. PvP was great. I mean, it just, you know, I don't know.
it's like I said. I think the biggest problem with it was it kind of fell into that same trap as most MMOs that released around that time. Like
Mhm.
what's it called? Elder Scrolls Online didn't do so well. That was because they were complete shit on release though.
Yeah.
You know, there was a bunch of other MMOs that were coming out around that same time. I think it has to do with like the same thing that happened between World of Warcraft and Warhammer Online, right? World of Warcraft just outshadowed Warhammer Online, and that's just that was how the cookie crumbled.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
That was what
Warhammer,
happened.
dude, Warhammer was just a way superior game. Warhammer
Yeah.
in all
I agree.
aspects
I
of it was
agree.
a fucking superior game.
I agree. It's just they got overshadowed because World of Warcraft was a Warcraft franchise, and they already had.
Well, again,
A
man,
huge amount
this
of
is the
influence.
like, oh my god, this is the fucking time right now for a MMO, for a
That's what I'm
company to
saying.
fucking do
Yeah.
an MMO right. Like,
That's why I want
That's what I'm
Riot to do
saying.
an MMO, bro.
yeah, well,
Instead of focusing on Valorant, I mean, as much as I'm excited for Valorant, an MMO from Riot would be sweet with all their lore, dude.
dude, I want them to do an MMO. They have, the world is built for a fucking MMO.
No, it probably won't happen.
No,
One
you know.
of our viewers is talking about the Ray stuff, and I'm like, yeah, no, the Aussie Beef, you're completely correct. I hope that if they do make more Star Wars games, they completely do away with the Ray,
Well,
like the
honestly,
new Star Wars stuff.
So as someone that played Star Wars Galaxies, like OG Star Wars Galaxies, like one
Yeah.
that to me was one of the best MMOs I've ever played.
It was great.
It is it's a situation where I think why that game flourished so well was because you were in this universe, but there was no story. Like it 100% was drops you in, you're just living in the Star Wars universe. You know, when you start adding all this story crap, because I don't want anything to do with Ray. If I fucking hear what is that whiny emo bitch's name? Kylo Ren.
Kylo,
Fuck
yeah.
him. Fuck Ray. Fuck all of that. Fuck the last 3 Star Wars. They were shit movies. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They were complete garbage. They just, like, you add in a story into that mode, and it's just is like,
Julia, you're gonna learn really quickly by tuning into this podcast that Papa Sin has his rants, and we just stay.
you gotta let me
We
go,
just
bro.
go.
I just gotta get tuckered out, and then
Just smile and wave.
like,
Smile and wave,
it
boys.
is, dude, if anybody, I'm one of the biggest Star Wars fucking nuts that's out there, like 100%. Like I have gone and sat
You're
through
not for sure.
I have gone and sat through like multiple marathons, have like like hundreds of thousands of dollars dedicated into Star Wars, like almost onto the level of what I am for Avengers and Marvel. And what I'm telling you right now is that if you are, I don't give it. Like, this is how angry it makes
man.
me. It completely destroyed everything that was built on from the Star Wars premises. Completely just kicked it square in the nuts and was the laziest, most discombobulated, disjointed piece of hot dog shit that has ever come out of anything out of Disney. Like, I would rather watch Frozen porn than to have to sit through and
I mean,
see
I'm sure
that.
that's
Like,
a thing. You know, we can
it's-
figure that out. For
it's
you.
complete shit, complete dog shit, horrible shit. Like, oh god, it was so bad. So anyway, don't
yeah,
make a
that's-
Star Wars
my-
in that universe, in the game, in the MMO.
my biggest thing is that I really do hope that with the new focus on like this new stuff with the Fallen Order and everything like that we start seeing some new video games, some new Star Wars video games, some new Star Wars MMOs, and they're good. They're actually decent. I'm hoping that's the biggest thing with me.
I just want everybody to get bought out by From Software. I'm with Sin on that
Nice.
one. Just have From Software make
From Software MMO?
Software and CD Projekt Red. Just give them
I was
all.
about to
all
say
the
CD
good
Projekt
ideas.
Red too.
Yeah.
I feel like From and CD Projekt Red are like the two
The only hopes we have.
dev teams that haven't even thought about screwing anybody over
They're
yet.
they're the Northern Star in our sky. We need to
Yeah.
look to
For right
them
now,
for
For
support.
now, Blizzard used to be the same thing.
Yeah,
that's-
I've gotten a little scared with FromSoft with their how they handled the Dark Souls 1 remaster stuff, but
Dude, their
That's
their
one
remasters have
blemish.
never been good. Like they're
I enjoyed the Scholar of the First Sin remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it. I thought that was fun.
I did not like that at all. I didn't like that one, and I didn't like the Demon Souls remake. I thought the Demon Souls remake was complete shit.
They
Like,
did Demon Souls remake.
Mhm.
What?
yeah, they did.
Well,
a
that
Demon
game's
Souls
garbage
remake.
anyway. So
That game is
The-
not
the
garbage.
The problem with those remakes and remasters though is that they don't change any of the core mechanics that make the game feel dated.
Yeah.
And those are games where precision is needed. And if it does feel dated compared to what the modern standard is, you're gonna have a bad time.
It's
Well, what
noticeable.
blows me
Yeah.
away is that you have Demon Souls, then you have Dark Souls 1, then you have Dark Souls 2, then you have Bloodborne, and then you have Dark Souls 3. And to me, Dark Souls 3 was a step back, like than what Bloodborne was. Like
I
Bloodborne,
want Bloodborne 2, man.
I want Bloodborne on
Give it-
PC. Give me Bloodborne on PC.
Yeah.
Like, just
Yeah.
give me Bloodborne on my on
Seriously.
PC.
Yeah.
I will play it over again on PC. I just want it on PC.
See, as a person that's never played it, like I can't, I don't own a PlayStation, right?
Mhm.
But I've looked at it and I've watched people play it, and I'm like,
It's
dude,
such
I
a
would
good
love
game.
to play that.
It's such
I
a
would
good game.
Love to play that, and I'm not usually a Souls like gamer, you know. I
Yeah.
don't.
there is
necessarily
a reason
enjoy
why it's my
Dark
favorite game
Souls.
of all time.
It's such a good game. It's I don't know. I think out of all of them, I think it's the best.
I
personally.
think it'll come. Honestly, I think in the coming years, we'll start seeing more and more PlayStation games being ported over, because I think they kind of have to with the way that Xbox is going.
I would love to see a Bloodborne PC.
because they're
Yeah.
already talking about porting over. What was that fucking robot? Fucking
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
dinosaur
about.
one.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
It's
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And,
It's
and
happening
and
in-
that has pissed off,
Oh,
pissed off the fucking PlayStation community.
it's
you
also
think
pissed
like
off the
in a-
PC community. They're not even adding an FOV slider. Like, you're not even getting the game right.
If you think that's bad, just wait until they announce God of War as a PC,
Oh.
because it's no longer says exclusive on the PlayStation
Oh.
Store. So that's the
Oh,
big
no.
that's the big speculation right now, is that God of War is the next PlayStation exclusive coming to
And,
PC.
Guys,
and
if-
all across the world, the rees of angry
If
PlayStation
anybody
fanboys could be
out
heard.
there thought that with the new launch of the new consoles that you are going to get exclusives only on your console and that PC players are going to get dicked on, you're an idiot. You're 100% an idiot. These systems have been moving to PC-based software and PC-based architecture for so long. Like that's what they want. Consoles want that. Like they need it. They have to have it. Like, because, well, except for Nintendo. Okay, Nintendo's in its own. Tom Nook owns Nintendo. They're just gonna let them own all the
Nintendo's
bells that you need to do whatever you got to
Nintendo's
do.
over in the corner, just like, hey guys,
yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah, Nintendo's Nintendo. No, we're never getting anything on PC from Nintendo. It's just not, unless it's a ROM hack. But like you're just completely oblivious to what it is. Like, and we've been screaming it forever. Like, PC Master Race. There's a reason for it. Like, these games are developed on PCs. They are literally built on PCs. Why would you think that they are not going to be ported over to PC essentially? And these companies understand that, like, we either take a huge hit in market share and revenue from not launching on PC and only launching on consoles, which I don't give a damn how many you tell me. Like, how many times you're going to throw numbers in my face of like, oh, well, there's 20 million or whatever, 100 million units that are PlayStation or Xboxes. It doesn't matter, because when you say I'm going to open it up to PCs, you've just increased your numbers. Like, it's just,
Yeah,
it's math,
that's
man.
what,
Like,
that's what I've been.
sense.
That's
Yeah.
what I've been saying from the start. Even when it comes to like these the launcher exclusivity, it's like, why have launch exclusivity on the launcher when you can have multiple different launchers selling the same product? You're making more money. There's people that don't want to buy from Epic, that if you launched on Steam, you're still getting the same fucking profit that you would. It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. I don't understand it.
yeah, no,
I agree.
It's stupid. So, well, to be 100% honest, guys, we are coming up on our 2-hour mark, and we have kind of committed ourselves to keeping this to a 2-hour show for the most part, unless, because otherwise we're going to sit here and talk for 4.5 hours.
Animal Crossing.
Oh man, do we got to talk about Animal Crossing again?
No.
I mean, it's always how it ends.
I don't want to
That's
talk
just
about
the name
Animal
at this point.
Crossing.
And then I get freaking tilted for no reason.
I
Do
don't
we
want to
wanna-
talk about it.
Do we want to end the podcast off with a quick chat about Bleeding Edge? I know you guys were wanting to talk about it, but
Yeah.
do we
I
think
mean,
we can do it in less than 5 minutes?
We could, or yeah.
Or do we
No,
wanna
I mean, I
save
think
that for next
I
time?
think we play.
If we save it for the next time, we can probably have some more on it because I think it right now as it stands, it's getting some
I
updates
think
that I want to wait.
It
just a
seems
bit.
like you guys have kind of dropped off on it. Don't take that as offensive. Or
No,
anything like
no,
that.
it is true.
Seems
I
like you
haven't
guys have
played
kinda
it in a
stopped
sec.
playing it.
So
And
And
that's,
that's
yeah, there's reasons behind it.
yeah.
It's not because it's a bad game. There's things that need to get worked on from a balance perspective and things of that nature.
Okay.
And also too, we've just gotten really sucked into League. Like it just is what it is.
fucking League.
Yeah.
You play fucking League
You
now,
play
bro.
it,
Don't
absolutely.
even.
I know. I'm like, I got reinvigorated into it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there has been a request, guys, that we do a top 5 games. You know, and what I can say is how I can like. Normally we would do that at the end of the year because obviously, you know, that's more of like an end of the year kind of conversation. What I will say is I do think what we can do is at least do like a top 5, you know, Q1. So Q1 games have come out in the last like, you know, January, February, March, April. We can sit down and go on the next show and talk about.
Yeah,
those
let's do
games.
that for the next show.
I'm gonna have to
Thank
think
you.
about that.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, next show. I'm not gonna do.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna do that now. We're not.
We're not doing that now.
No.
dude.
No,
No,
we will
we
do
can
that.
figure
We'll
that
do
out.
that next show. So for next show, guys, tune in because we will give our top 5s. Probably most likely that entire show will be dedicated to that because that is a long, lengthy discussion.
Well,
Really
five
is.
from each of us. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well,
Like,
there's going to be some overlap inevitably too.
I'm sure there
Yeah.
will, but
There-
either way, that's going to be a lot of discussion. Like
that honestly might exceed the 2 hours.
Yeah,
if we're trying to stick to
yeah.
that.
We'll do what we can.
We-
And go into
yeah.
it.
Are
but-
we just going to do first quarter? Are we going to include because we didn't really talk about the end of last year, like the last quarter of last year either.
I think for time reasons and for sanity reasons, we keep it to first quarter.
First quarter.
Um,
yeah.
Okay.
And we do Q1, Q2, or we can do this as a Q1, Q2, Q3, and then we can just do a year round show.
Mhm.
And I've already got some plans for the end of the year show, and I'm super excited to even just kind of I'm gonna talk with these guys offline. You got chat, you're not gonna be able to hear about it. It's secrets. Shh. But,
Super secret
it's
secrets.
secrets.
Crovid wanted to know if we were going to take in a couple of questions. I know he had a couple of questions he wanted to ask.
Yeah. So what we can do is we've got realistically about a minute left, but we'll open it up for the next couple minutes here.
Try and make them short.
please
questions.
keep
not
them-
do
Don't
fucking
get Sin
paragraphs.
on a
Right.
tangent is pretty much what
Shut
he's saying.
up. In any case, we'll run through it. A couple questions here. We'll open it up. Just a reminder, if you guys are reading it, read it from your chat. Make sure that we are reading the name of the person and the questions, so people that are listening
Yeah.
via YouTube all
Yeah.
understand. So,
Mhm.
so Crovid
I
posts
think there's 2 questions in that.
a long. Crovid, you broke both rules, bro. You kept it. It's fucking long as
He also-
shit.
He also asked the question prior to me actually saying that.
Okay. All right. Crovid asked
Oh my
first.
God, it's a
First
paragraph.
is your say. Oh my God. First is you're saying from Software should do Star Wars. How would you feel about Star Wars Witcher third-person RPG from CD Projekt Red? Is the first part of the question.
I'd be all for it.
I don't
If
really care.
if CDPR could get the rights to Star Wars, I think they would be a much better fit. Personally, don't fucking at me. I know you guys are all about ID Soft and all that shit, or not ID Soft, FromSoft and all that shit. But I think that CDPR has a better grasp on it at the moment with RPG wise, at least.
The reason I say from Software and the Souls-like experience is because of the world that is in. Like, it really is a world that can fucking kill you with really anything. I mean, when you're talking about Rancors, when you're talking about crate dragons and things like that walking around, like, it's just, I mean, it fits very, very well into a From Software style of game. But I don't see, I mean, CD Projekt Red, I have no problem with them doing it either. I mean, the Witcher games are amazing. They're fucking great. And to be honest, some could argue that the Witcher games really kind of do have a Souls-like kind of touch to them.
I agree.
No, they
difficulty.
don't. No, they don't. They're hack and slash at best. Those games have never been about the mechanics. They've always been about the story and
Billy?
the world.
Billy, you're pissing me off right now.
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I've been restricted that I can't go on a tangent, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Like,
I'm about to go on a tangent after that.
yeah,
bro.
I mean,
Okay, shit. Let's talk about Animal Crossing.
no.
Can I weigh in on this topic
Yeah,
though,
go
for real,
ahead.
for real? I think if the game takes place in a modern Star Wars universe, like not modern as in like what they're currently doing, but modern as in like advanced future Star Wars, I think CD Projekt Red would do the better job.
Dude,
If
I actually
it takes
I
place
actually
in
think
like
the opposite.
go way the fuck back to like the book canon, to where they like where the Jedis are more prevalent, where the Sith Lords are more like heavily like prevalent, where it's more lightsaber style stuff. I feel like
see.
Dark Souls could do a
Yeah.
lot more with that.
No, I
From
think that
Software.
I completely agree with you on that part, because I think that From Software would do better actually even prior to that, when it was early days, when the Jedi were just barely starting out, when the Sith were just barely starting out, when the entire world was just building, right?
Right.
And if that's what you mean, then yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Hell, they could even do a Sith, like you play as the Sith Lord of some sort of upcoming whatever you're doing.
No.
That would be neat.
What do you think, Scruff?
Really, not much of a comment from me.
Scruff's like, I don't care. Fuck
It's
'em."
it's not really my style, so it's just kind of sure. There you go.
All right,
Sorry.
go
to
collect
disappoint.
your fucking bells. The
Yeah,
other part of that question is, second you said the Clone War. Hold on. Second you said you watched all the movies and played all the games, but have you watched the Clone Wars and Rebels? Yes, I have. I have watched. Honestly, one of the best storylines in any of the Star Wars universes is actually the Star Wars Clone Wars, not the new animated series, which the new animated series is good. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't get me wrong. But the actual old school, like Samurai Jack style anime style Clone Wars series, where it was talking about Grievous and all of those kind of things, and Mace Windu, and really delve into that storyline, was phenomenal. One of the best ones. Seriously, if you've not watched that story or watched that that series, go watch that series. It will really blow you away with how well it is done. And yes, Rebels. I don't have a problem with Rebels. I'm not a big fan of the Rebel stuff. I don't like the new art. I don't like that type of art style. Like there's something about the computer generated, like it's trying to be a video game, not video game animation style that I really don't like. Like I am a pen paper cartoon style person. I always have. Chicken Boy asks, and again, your guys' chat, please feel free to chime in here. I mean, I've got two more questions on my.
I got the same question here in mind, so you're going over it.
Okay. So Chicken Boy 221 in my chat asks, what did y'all think of Generation Zero? So this came up when we were talking about games that were busted and broken, and you paid for it, you didn't get what you got. I don't know anything about Generation Zero. From what I can look up over here, it was like an open world style game that I guess had mechs. It was like a survival game.
Yeah, it's like robots.
He mentioned earlier that they shut down. They're still selling it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't think they shut down.
Is it completely shut down or what? 'Cause if they're still selling it on Steam, then that's against Steam policy.
Yeah, or if it's shutting down soon, they should have halted the selling.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I mean,
from what it looked like, it looked pretty cool. But it also, I heard it was
interesting.
it was a little borked. But I don't know, from if I gave it any credit for being a decent game, because it's got mostly positive on Steam, I think the characters and like the scenery of it being set in 1980s Sweden,
Which was unique.
that's cool. Yeah, it's unique. You don't
Like
you
it,
get to
it,
see
it,
many other
it went
games like
down. It went down the survival genre. without
kind of like
zombies.
I think it was more similar to like The Forest, of where they
Yeah.
actually had a story to it. It wasn't just like a mindless survival.
well, I also saw it's like only like a 1 to 4 person survival game. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's co-op. It wasn't online.
What
or
I will
anything.
what I'll do is I will go and do research on the game and come back with it for the next show. I will
we can
answer
do
that question because I didn't get to play it. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to pay for it. I can tell you that. I'll just do the research on it. A Nice Dog 97 asks, what game do you want to go to PC the most, excluding Bloodborne? Are we across all across all platforms? Or are we just saying like PlayStation, Xbox, or one from each? Like,
Let's just do all platforms.
all
just to make it easy.
all
Yeah.
platforms, huh? I really just fucking want Bloodborne.
The only one I can't think of that isn't Bloodborne, I guess, for me, it would be The Last of Us, the first one. I think The Last of Us was a cool game. I know you have your opinions on Last of Us, but honestly, I think it's a pretty cool game. I'd like to play it on PC probably. The second as
Yeah,
well.
Bill.
I just want Bloodborne.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really.
I'm gonna get off the Bloodborne
Actually,
thing.
I do have
gonna-
one. I do have one.
I'm gonna say upcoming game because I want to play it the most, and I know that I'm never going to be able
Oh,
to play it.
yeah.
Is Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
So
That's my
Yeah.
thing.
That should be a PC release. I feel like.
It really should. I don't know why it's not, other
Yeah.
than the fact that it's a fucking Sony bullshit.
So this is something that I don't know. So there's two that I would really want. I mean, again, aside from Bloodborne,
We said one.
I got
Sin.
it. But
We
it
said
doesn't. I mean, this
one.
doesn't really count
Oh
because
my
Phantom
God.
Dust is technically out. Phantom Dust is my all-time favorite game. Period. Like hands down, Phantom Dust is a phenomenal game. It was on the original Xbox. They did release it on Steam, but they did just such a shit job of releasing it that nobody plays it. And it needs a multiplayer. Like you have to have people to play this game. I really wish that they would do a better job of that, and so that doesn't really count. The one that I really wish that they would bring out is, and I don't think they ever did, is the original Phantasy Star Online, like the old like original Dreamcast Phantasy Star Online.
I mean, they're doing it with Phantasy Star 2.
Yeah, but it's not. First off, it's on Xbox only right now.
But
And
I mean, it's coming to PC in this.
yeah, but it's
the
still not the
summer.
same. I want the
Yeah.
original Phantasy Star Online. That was a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
It was great, and we're never gonna probably see that. So yeah. And yes, we are streaming. I am streaming after this. I don't know if anybody else is. So
Yeah, I'll be streaming too.
yep. Any other
I will not
questions?
be.
Nope. Any other questions across the boards?
I think that's honestly all we got.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all we
Cool.
got, Brian.
We're gonna call it. Guys, thank you everybody and girls. Thank you everybody for being here, hanging out. We had an amazing time. This was an awesome episode. It flowed very well. So no transitions
there
or
was
whatever
one.
else.
There was
Jesus
one,
Christ,
yeah.
man! You guys expect perfection
Keep
and give me
account. Everybody,
nothing.
you should keep
Better.
account from
Son
now
of
on.
a bitch. In any case, it was an awesome show. Again, we always enjoy doing this. We love being here. I'm already wishing that we were. It was 2 weeks from now, so we could do the next one.
Yeah,
The next
it
one.
comes so fast though. I feel like
They
too.
do. They do.
They really.
so-
It's just like one after another.
that's what my wife says as well. But
Yikes.
and we will be live again next week in 2 weeks on Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on my channel, on Scruffy's channel, and Bill's
Yep.
channel.
Also, they do get uploaded to YouTube. The last one, there was some complications, but it is getting uploaded as well as this one not soon after.
Absolutely. And there is the link in my channel to go and take a look and click on the subscribe button. Guys, please, everybody go. And if you have not subscribed, even if you don't necessarily care about YouTube at all, please go and hit the subscribe button because we are trying to get to 100 subscribers so we can get
Definitely use your help.
our custom
It helps.
URL. But we do upload these, like Scruffy said, to YouTube, so you can watch the shows at your leisure whenever you.
On
need
top
it.
of that, we're also looking at like doing some other things with the podcasts. We had been talking about between me and Billy and the rest of these guys, maybe making more bite-sized chunks and such, so it's not you're not listening to an entire 2-hour
Right.
podcast at once. So we're thinking
Clip
about
it
doing
out for some of the
other stuff,
exciting
so.
moments or
Yeah.
moments
Like,
you might want to
we,
see
we,
more
we,
of.
we might after tonight Sin's rants might be a thing. We might just start clipping those out and
Yeah.
posting those.
Yeah.
You know,
Have a compilation of all the.
Jesus Christ.
there you go. Yeah.
You know what? I make this show entertaining, bitches. So in any case, please go and hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys all for being here. Had an amazing time, and we will catch you guys in 2 weeks. If you guys want to stay around, we are going to be live again after this. But you guys have a wonderful night. Bye.
Later, everyone.
See you guys.
Peace.